the driver to Pierce Henry on number 3, My Blumen. Number 5, Phyllis L. Change the driver to Louis Levan. Louis Levan will drive number 5, Phyllis L. Turn to race 5. Race 5, there'll be win, place, exacta wagering. And there'll be a daily double on races 5 and 6. Daily double on 5 and 6. In race 5, number 1, Jogging Bank Shot. Change the driver to Harrison Levan. Harrison Levan will drive number 1, Jogging Bank Shot. Number 2, Rose Run Zeb. Make the driver Pierce Henry. Pierce Henry will drive number 2, Rose Run Zeb. Turn to race 6. Race 6 will be the second half of that daily double along with race 5. And there will be win, place, show, exacta, quinella, and trifecta wagering in race 6. Turn to race 7. Race 7, there will be win, place, show, exacta, quinella, and trifecta wagering. Race 7, number 1, JB Magic. Make the driver Pierce Henry. Pierce Henry will drive number 1, JB Magic. Number 5, Lather Up Athens. Change the driver to Derek Flowers. Derek Flowers will drive number 5, Lather Up Athens. Number 7, Seeing Gray. Change the driver to Drew Neal. Drew Neal will drive number 7, Seeing Gray. Turn to race 8. Race 8, there will be win, place, show, exacta, quinella, and trifecta wagering. Race 8, number 2, Q Cobra Jet. Change the driver to Louis Levan. Louis Levan will drive number 2, Q Cobra Jet. Number 5, High Splendor. Change the driver to Pierce Henry. Pierce Henry will drive number 5, High Splendor. Turn to race 9. Race 9, there will be win, place, show, exacta, quinella, and trifecta wagering. Race 9, number 1, Cinderbella. Change the driver to Mark St. Louis Jr. Mark St. Louis Jr. will drive number 1, Cinderbella. Number 4, Allison L. Change the driver to Harrison Levan. Harrison Levan will drive number 4, Allison L. Number 5, Ma Honey. Make the driver Pierce Henry. Pierce Henry will drive number 5, Ma Honey. Turn to race 10. Race 10, there will be win, place, show, exacta, quinella, and trifecta wagering. And those are the only changes and corrections that we have at this time. We need a representative of...
The Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association presents Ohio County Fair Racing. Ohio County Fair Racing is presented by the Ohio Veterinary Medical Center, Big D Tack and Vet Supply, Dublin Valley Farms, Stable.ca, and Midland Acres. Now let's go trackside for all the action.
Well, good evening, racing fans, and welcome to the Van Wert County Fair in Van Wert, Ohio. Ohio Fair Racing Conference action. I'm Doug Ballinger. Joining me alongside the other mic tonight, Ashley Daly. And our cameraman, and joining in on the other mic will be Matt Clark. We'll get set for first race post-parade.
Judy Rogner of Groswell, Michigan, the driver Mark St. Louis Jr. Number 3 is Longing for Cash. Owned by E.G. Trot LLC and the Brokers Ltd. of Findlay, trained by Ed Greeno Jr., the driver Cody Greeno. Number 4 is Wilder, owned and trained by Ann Russell, Britain, Michigan, the driver Harrison Levan. At number 5 is Rose Run Zoom, owned by Rosie Weaver of Beach City, Heartland Acres of Wall Hunting, and Kevy D LLC of Hudson, trained by Rosie Weaver, the driver Drew Neal. Horses will take one.
So here we go, Doug. A very quick introduction. We were on a slight delay for our ambulance to show up, but there we go, a field of 5. Before we get into it, just a couple housekeeping bits. If you do want to follow along with a program this evening as Doug and I go through all 10 races tonight, you can head on over to harnessracingohio.com. Those programs are always available and free to you at least an hour before post time.
Well, as you mentioned, Ashley, first race, 3-year-old Colt Trot. First of 2 divisions, a 1 Grover Hill. Pierce Henry drives for Ty Bates. 3-year-old Big Eldest son of Watt the Hill has 2 wins on the year. Winner 6 times last year, $47,000 lifetime, $159 at Oak Harbor about 5 weeks ago.
Mark St. Louis Jr. will drive the 2 Rankin for Judy Rogner. This is a 3-year-old gelding by Enterprise. Most recently did have a second-place finish up at Hart, Michigan. So this was one that is owned and trained out of Michigan. That most recent second-place finish did go in 1:59.3 last quarter, 28.3 at that state up north. This year has 3 wins and 13 starts. Lifetime has made about $57,000.
3, Longing for Cash, Cody Greeno for Ed Greeno Jr., the 3-year-old Bay Gelded son of Long Tom. Yet to find the winner's circle this year, has 2/3. Last year was a winner 6 times, $28,000 last year, only $2,700 this year, 203 and 2. Last year's a 2-year-old at Tiffin, the 3, Longing for Cash.
Harrison Levan will drive the 4 Wilder for Ann Russell, another owner out of Michigan. Last 3 starts has had some trouble early on and making quite a bit of miscues. However, 4 starts back did stay flat and had a 3rd place finish at Bowling Green. Went that mile in 2:05 and 4 last quarter, 32 and 4. 11 starts on the year with just that 1 3rd place finish.
Rounding out the field, the 5 Rose Run Zeb. Drew Neal drives for Rosie Weaver. This the highest priced yearling 2 years ago, $33,000 in this field of 5. 3-year-old Big Gelded son of Uncle Peter, 2 wins, 2 seconds, 2/3, $19,000, 58 and 2 at Marysville. Last time out was a winner at Hicksville of 204 and 4. That's the 5 Rose Run Zoom. That's the look at the field of 5. They're completing their scores. They'll be heading to the gate. Post time favorite, the 2 Rankin at 6-5. Grover Hill, Pierce Henry at 3-2 coming off the rail.
Does look like, as I had mentioned, Harrison Levan will drive the 4. He will pick up quite a few drives tonight. Harrison is not one that we see at every single fair, but it does look like Hank Levan is out this evening. Both Harrison and Dad, Louie, are picking up quite a few.
Now, I'm wondering, would Harrison be at, is Caldwell going tonight? Is that where they're at tonight?
Possibly. I would say I texted Harrison to see if I could get an answer of where, if Hank is completely out for the evening or if he is just elsewhere. I believe Caldwell was on a ambulance delay as well, but I have not picked up that stream to see where they are this evening. But here we go. We are going to move in behind the Mike Webgenberg starting gate. First race of 10 this evening at Van Wert. Thanks for joining us as always. A field of 5 headed behind the gate for the first division of 3-year-old colt trotters. Purse of $6,200. From the rail out, we have Grover Hill, Rankin, Longin for Cash, Wilder, and Rose Run Zoom. Here is Bill Peters with the call.
Here they come. They're off and trotting. The first horse away on the outside is Rose Run Zoom. Now taking over along the rail, that's Rankin. Moving in there third, that's Wilder. Trotting in there fourth, that's Longing for Cash. And the last horse is Grover Hill, and Grover Hill is off stride. Also off stride goes Rose Run Zoom. Also off stride goes Wilder. As they make the turn now, heading down the backside, to race over toward that quarter-mile mark. Mark St. Louis has Rankin on top by about 5.5 lengths. Trotting in there second, that's Longing for Cash, driven by Cody Greeno. Moving up third along the rail is Grover Hill, driven by Pierce Henry. Racing in there fourth is Rose Run Zoom, driven by Drew Neal. Still off stride fifth is Wilder, driven by Harrison LeMan. First quarter was trotted in 30 and 2/5 seconds. As they race around that upper turn to come down past the stand for the first time. Out there on the front end is Rankin. Racing in there second is Longing for Cash. Racing at the rail third, that is Grover Hill. Up on the outside fourth, Rose Run Zoom, and farther back fifth is Wilder. Past the half-mile mark, that's Rankin by about 6 lengths. Grover Hill now trots up second. On the outside third, Rose Run Zoom. First half trotted in 59 and 3/5 seconds. As they round the turn now to head down the backside to race over that 3/4 mile mark. The one to catch is Rankin. Closing in second along the rail is Grover Hill, and on the outside third, Rose Run Zoom, and right there fourth, Longing for Cash, and then comes Wilder. Going to the 3/4 mile mark. That's Rankin now by only 3 lengths. Trotting up second is Rose Run Zoom. Grover Hill is third. Longing for Cash edges up on the outside fourth. 3/4 in 130 and 1/5. As they race around that upper turn to head for pay dirt. That's still Rankin with the lead. Racing in there second is Rose Run Zoom. On the outside third, Longing for Cash, and at the rail fourth is Grover Hill. As they race into the lane, that is Rankin with the lead, but Rose Run Zoom is flying on the outside. Rankin and Rose Run Zoom as they race through the lane. Rankin and Rose Run Zoom. It's going to be Rankin, and here they all come. Rose Run Zoom up for place, Longing for Cash for show. A mile in 1:59 and 4/5.
I had to look at the track record for 3-year-old trotters. Two minutes, 2/5, 3-year-old colt trotter. I Get It, Bob Rollin in 2019, 2 minutes, 2/5. 3-year-old Gilding. I don't believe they separate the Gilding. So this will be a new track record of 59 and 4. No separation from a stout colt to a Gilding in their track records. So Rankin, 30 and 2/5, 59-3, 130 and 1. Home, 159 and 4. That will be a lifetime mark. He did it pretty easy. Maybe getting a little weary leg coming, the last 16th mile. The Rose Run Zoom was coming at him, but pretty comfortable overall for the 2 Rankin. 3-year-old bay-gelded son of Enterprise.
All the way from Croswell, Michigan, comes number 2, Rankin. Owned and trained by Judy Rogner and driven to victory this evening by Mark St. Louis Jr. And Rankin has just trotted to a new track record for 3-year-old gelding trotters, trotting that mile in 1:59 and 4/5. The old track record was 2 minutes and 2/5 by I Get It back in 2019. The blanket for this race is courtesy of Superior Collision of Van Wert. Let's have a big hand here for Judy Rogner, Mark St. Louis, and Rankin, and the Superior Collision, the donors of the blanket.
Still waiting for that official rundown from Bill Peters. But there we go. Official, well, not official, but the track record, as Doug had mentioned. He did get it done pretty easy. We did have quite a few in that field that did jump off. But I had them, I believe, across the wire 2-5, 3-1. Doug, is that what you had as well?
Yes. The 4 Wilder will be 5th with my stats. So Grover Hill 4. Rankin was your winner. Longing for Cash 3, Wilder 5, and Rose Run Zoom finished 2nd. That is unofficial. We wait the rundown from veteran announcer Bill Peters. The winner, $5, $6.60 and $5.20.
One Grover Hill was 4th. Number 2, Rankin was the winner. Number 3, Longing for Cash was 3rd. Number 4, Wilder was 5th. At number 5, Rose Run Zoom was 2nd. Time of the first quarter was 30 2/5. The half was in 59 3/5. The 3/4 in 130 1/5, with a mile in 159 4/5. From the top it should read 4-1-3-5-2 on the bottom. The mile in 159 4/5. A new track record for 3-year-old gelding trotters.
Well, it's on to the second. Ashley, 2-year-old Colt Pacers. First of 2 divisions. This one for $6,968. We're going to scratch the 3. Legionnaire Ray, Harrison Levan to drive the 4. Sirius Colt. Chris Hope will drive number 6. Remarkably Smart. We're down to a field of 6. You can print a program out by going to harnessracingohio.com. That's an hour before post time. Am I correct on that?
That is correct.
So we'll be back to take a look at field of 6 for this second race right after these messages.
The fall of 1855 saw the founding of the annual Van Wert County Fair. Earlier that same year, a local newspaper had pushed the Agricultural Society to host a fair promoting area farm development. Despite public demand, the first fair was humbling. The one-day event had 1 horse, few poultry, a pig, 2 cows, and just some artwork to exhibit. However, by 1857, the fair had become so competitive that land was purchased to keep up with expansion. For only $187, the Van Wert County Fair finally had a permanent home. In 2 decades, the fair had extended to 3 days, and admission was increased to 25 cents per person. A saloon, Wheel of Fortune, dance floor, and racetrack had all been added to the grounds. A $20 purse was given to the fastest trotter of the day. Today, the Van Wert County Fair is a member of the Ohio Fair Racing Conference. They host 2 days of live-action harness racing and include a leg of the Spring Haven Farm Ladies Driving Series.
The roots of harness racing are born at the county fair. For over 150 years, people have gathered to watch horses battle it out for fame and glory. Catch the thrills this summer at an Ohio Fair Racing Conference county fair. The OFRC races at 22 fairs in 20 Ohio counties. Trotters and pacers put it all on the line to be called the best in the Buckeye State. The Ohio Fair Racing Conference, where the path to greatness begins.
Welcome back. Here we are, Doug, Matt, and myself, Ashley, for day 1 racing at Van Wert. It has cooled off a little bit, Doug.
Got a nice little breeze. Got a nice breeze.
When we all rolled up here, I don't know, an hour and a half or so ago, we were, don't want to say
big
complaining.
Difference. There's a big difference. Just since that last race, the breeze has kicked up. As we mentioned, the winner of the last race, $5, $6.60 to place, $5.20. Exacta $8.80, Quinella $4.60. The try, $52.60 on the try.
Doug, we had a nice mile open us up for the 2024 meet. New track record
track
for
record.
3-year-old colt trotters, 1:59.4. Do you know if anybody trains here year-round?
Not for sure, but
Yes.
it would be
Do
just
they?
a handful.
Chad Williamson.
Chad Williamson, just
I'm not
a
sure
handful.
who else, yeah.
Probably a dozen to 15 at the very most.
Gotcha.
In its day, back 35 years ago, they had there was a gentleman by the name of Leroy Gurman that trained here. The Bates, Ty Bates, would train here probably when he was in high school. He went on to be a teacher when he graduated and was down in the Bowling Green area now, but this is his stomping ground in this area right here, Rockford, Slina, and Van Wert, Ty Bates, who has, 4 or 5 in tonight on the
And
training
he's got
side.
some nice horses.
He's got some nice horses. He's having a
in
very
tonight.
good year, and I noticed today, I just glanced through the blooded horse sale at Springfield where he purchased something today. I think it maybe was an aged horse. And I just handed you, we got sales coming up. Steve Cross's Buckeye Classic yearling sale, October 8th. Am I right on that?
That is October 8th on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday at 9 a.m. But before that, the Ohio Select sale, I believe that's on Friday the 13th it would be Friday, September 13th at the Pickaway County Event Center there at Circleville. So the Ohio Select sale. And I know Steve, I think he had 357 head catalog, in that catalog to the sale. Usually he's at 180 to 2 1/4. So if that's a sign, I guess I did get also this week. I did get my Ohio Select, but I can't remember. I don't believe they have 300. I think they have maybe 280. So there's going to be a lot of yearlings. And Midland Acres sold 18 today, yearlings at the blooded horse sale. So a lot of yearlings. It's getting that time of year.
Hard to believe, by all means, but we did have a comment. I think it was Rusty, as we were talking earlier, that Hank Levan is out this evening, at least not with us this evening. He's probably at the sale. Probably was at the sale today.
Very well could have been, because I looked at Caldwell. He wasn't listed. And then I thought, well, maybe he's at Scioto. And
there's just a lot going on.
I just glanced. So, Hank, if you're out there, we're wondering where you're at. You can let us know. He's a family man. I see earlier this week he was with his son Perry, went golfing with him for his birthday. Maybe that was over the weekend. So, Hank having a very good year.
Try to hop on Facebook to see if we have any check-ins. Thanks as always for joining us. Like I had mentioned earlier, this is just day 1 here at Van Wert. They do technically hold 3 days, so we will skip tomorrow. Doug, are you here on Wednesday? Where are you at?
Thursday.
I don't even know what today is.
Thursday we start at 11:30. Tomorrow evening you'll be at Hancock County Fair in Findlay. Take your sunscreen.
You've got me nervous. You've got me nervous. Matt, are you ready for it?
He's shaking his head no.
Do you have a field? Well, scratched down to a field of 6 headed into the second race. I do not believe anything. Trying to see if we do have anything out quite yet. Maybe one. Looks like Drew Neal is out with our 5 horse.
Beginning with the 1, we can run through this field here. Hot Shots Ray. I believe Derek Flowers is going to drive the 2-year-old brown gelded son of Cheyenne Ray. 9 starts, has 2 seconds, 3,400 this year. Last time out, finished 4th, beaten 16.5 at Hicksville. Paced his mile in 3 and 4. Derek Flowers drives the 1. Hot Shots Ray.
Mark St. Louis Jr. will drive the 2, Believe in Tom, for Steve Novak. This is a 2-year-old gelding by Long Tom. And as we had mentioned previously, this is a colt pacing division. Long Tom is known to be a pretty prolific trotting sire, but Believe in Tom, our 2 horse, has hit the board 6 of 8 this year with 3 wins, most recently coming off a win at Hicksville in 159-3. Let's go to the post parade.
DW Auto Supply. Number 1 is Hot Shots Ray, owned and trained by Bill Webb of Defiance. The driver is Derek Flowers. Number 2 is Believe in Tom, owned by Jerry Michel of Westland, Michigan, trained by Steve Novak. The driver, Mark St. Louis Jr. Number 3 has been drawn. Number 4 is Serious Cold, owned by Levan Stables Incorporated and Megan Levan of Woodstock and Richard Fries of Northfield, trained by Hank Levan. The driver is Harrison Levan. Number 5 is Truly Flying, owned and trained by Brian Boring of Adrian, Michigan. The driver, Drew Neal. Number 6 is Remarkably Smart, owned by Mick Foster of Lucky, Ohio, trained by Ty Bates. The driver, Chris Hope. Number 7 is Pete Said, owned by Rick Hassel of Oakwood, trained by Chad Williamson. The driver, Pierce Henry. Horses will take one.
Finishing our thoughts with our 2-horse, Believe in Tom, as I had said, has made about $22,000 this year, so really shaping in to be a pretty decent little freshman colt pacer. Back on July 12th, did win a BSS at Scioto Downs in 153 flat.
Yeah, it very well looks like it could be a Mark St. Louis early double, as he is currently 3-2. The 2, Believe in Tom. 3 is Scratch, 4 Serious Colt, Harrison Levan for the Levan Stables. 10 starts, a win, a second, 3/3. This a $15,000 yearling purchase. $3,900, a winner at Troy, and 204-2.
Drew Neal drives the 5, Truly Flying for Brian Boring. It's a 2-year-old colt by Yanking Cruiser, owned out of Michigan by Boring himself, as well as a co-breeder alongside Jennifer Vollmer. 8 starts on the year, has hit the board 4 times, but still looking for that first lifetime win. The best start most recently did come 4 back at Bowling Green, had a second place finish with Drew in the bike, 2:02-3.
Chris Hope will drive number 6, Remarkably Smart for Ty Bates. 2-year-old bay colt by Racing Hill, a $32,000 Ohio Select purchase last fall. Tried the Buckeye Stallion Series on July 22nd, did not finish, an accident. Showed the break the start before that, but paced in 56-1 at Scioto Downs in the Buckeye Stallion Series on July 12th, finished 5th. The 6, Remarkably Smart, and Chris Hope.
Rounding out the field, we have the 7, Pete Said, Pierce Henry in the bike for Chad Williamson, owned out of Oakwood, Ohio by Claudia Estelle. Looks like we have 7 lifetime starts with 2 wins, 1 second place finish, and 2 third place finishes. Has made about $7,700. Took a lifetime mark at Tiffin in 2:02-3. And that was the most recent win with Pierce in the bike.
That's a look at the field for the second race. 2-year-old colt pace. They've completed their score. Mike Wepkenberg on the backside with his wife Becky at the wheel of the car. Mike getting here after he started the Indiana State Fair races earlier today. The wings of the gate open, and the field of 6 2-year-old pacers are headed to the Wepkenberg starting gate.
We will have our 7 as the trailer. We do score 6 wide, but if you do draw from the second tier, you do always start from that second tier. So as Doug said, though, scratch down to a field of 6 with that 1 trailer.
Let's go to Bill Peters. He's going to give us a call.
Here they come. They're off and pacing. The first horse away is Believe in Tom. In their second is Hot Shots Ray. Up on the outside third is Truly Flying. Racing fourth is Pete Said. Fifth, it is Serious Colt. And the last horse at this point is Remarkably Smart. As they make the turn now to head down the backside to race over to that quarter-mile mark, Mark St. Louis has Believe in Tom on top by 2 lengths. Pacing second is Hot Shots Ray, driven by Derek Flowers. Racing in their third, that is Truly Flying, driven by Drew Neal. Fourth is Pete Said, driven by Pierce Henry. Racing fifth is Serious Colt, driven by Harrison Levan. And the last horse is Remarkably Smart, driven by Chris Hope. First quarter paced in 31 and 1/5 seconds. Horses are in straight alignment as they race around that upper turn to come down past the stand for the first time. That's still Believe in Tom by about 2 lengths. Racing second is Hot Shots Ray with Truly Flying racing in their third. Racing fourth as they come down to the half, that's Pete Said. Fifth, it is Serious Colt. Then the last horse, Remarkably Smart. Coming to the half-mile mark, Drew Neal is out and on the move with Truly Flying, but answering the call and pacing right on, that's Believe in Tom. First half paced in 101 and 3/5 as they round the turn now to head down the backside to race over to that 3/4 mile mark. The one to catch is Believe in Tom. The closest horse second is Hot Shots Ray, about 3.5 lengths back. On the outside third, that is Truly Flying. Racing fourth is Pete Said. Serious Cold is fifth, and the last horse is Remarkably Smart. Past the 3/4 mile mark, that's still Believe in Tom with the lead with Truly Flying on the outside second. 3/4 in 130 and 1/5 as they race around that upper turn to head for pay dirt. That's Believe in Tom with the lead. Pacing up on the outside second now is Pete Said with Truly Flying along the rail third and Hot Shots Ray racing fourth. As they race for home, that's Believe in Tom, Truly Flying, and Pete Said. Through the lane, it's going to be Believe in Tom, and here they all come. Looked like Truly Flying got up for place with Pete Said for show. A mile in 2 minutes and 3/5.
2 minutes and 3/5 for Believe in Tom. Doug, I would say you're right. That Mark St. Louis just took the double to open up.
Both races gate to wire. When you know you're the best, you put them on the front end. Catch me if you can. Winner last time out in 59 and 3, Believe in Tom. That was at Hicksville. Tried the Buckeye Stallion Series at Urbana on the 6th of August. Finished 5th. Paced a mile in 2:01 and 1. Finished second to Buckeye Stallion Series about 4 starts back in mid-July at Northfield Park. Finished second. Just got beat 55 and 1. Paced his mile 55 and 3. So Believe in Tom, the 2-year-old bay goat, the son of a Long Tom pacer. 31 and 1, 101 and 3, 130 and a 5th. Home in 2 minutes and 3/5 to pick up his 4th win in 9 tries this year.
Do have them unofficially across the wire, 2-5-7-1.
Where the winners go, coming in from Westland, Michigan, comes number 2, Believe in Tom. Owned by Jerry Meisel, trained by Steve Novak, and driven to victory this evening by Mark St. Louis Jr. And Mark's tire marks are still there from the last race. The blanket for this race is courtesy of VW Auto Supply. And Aaron is in the winner's circle there for the trophy presentation. Let's have a big hand here for the Novak family, Mark St. Louis, and Believe in Tom, and the VW Auto Supply, the donors of the blanket.
While we're waiting for that official rundown from Bill, Doug, you might recall too, was it 2 years ago? I want to say we had Doc's Boo Boo. Was it down by the Seaside Trotter? Is that right?
Correct.
She was pretty decent on the BSS.
Oh, yes. Yes. Probably a 5-year-old this year, I believe.
Number 2, Believe in Tom, was the winner. Number 3, Legend Air Ray had been drawn. Number 4, Serious Colt was 5th. Number 5, Truly Flying was 2nd. Number 6, Remarkably Smart was 6th. And number 7, Pete Said was 3rd. Time of the first quarter was 31 and 1/5. The half was in 101 and 3/5. The 3/4 in 130 and 1/5, with a mile in 2 minutes and 3/5. From the top, it should read 4-1 scratch, 5-2-6, 3 on the bottom. The mile in 2 minutes and 3/5.
Brian Boyne has to be pretty happy with that start from our 5-horse, Truly Fine, and did end up second to our winner, Believe in Tom. But the last 3 starts has gotten money, but was kind of in the back of the pack. So it was a pretty nice drive. Drew Neal in the bike.
Mark St. Louis Jr., our leading driver this year, probably by 8 to 10 the last time I looked at the standings over Jeff Neisunger. So he's just adding to that win total. I know it was at about 74 or 5. It's probably pushing 80 now with some drives this last week. I'm sure he was at a few fairs that I didn't know add the wins up in the column, but he is our leading driver right now. So the winner, $4, $260, $340, exacta $11.40, trifecta $24 even. It's on to the third, 2-year-old filly Pacers. First of 2 divisions, $6,378. Harrison Levan to drive the 2, Evil L. Drew Neal to drive the 4, My Sweet Caroline. Did you look through your Facebook messages? Did we find out where Hank Levan's at tonight?
I didn't see. I haven't checked it in the last
We're
few
going to have to
minutes.
put a reward out there.
But I don't know if we have I'm not sure if his wife Megan is or anybody else is watching. So we'll have to keep everybody updated if we have that official word where Hank Levan is tonight.
We're going to take a break hear from these fine sponsors, and we'll be back to take a look at this third race, 2-year-old filly Pacers, first of 2 divisions right after this.
Mark your calendar for the new and exciting North American Standard Bred Mix Sale. Tuesday, December 17th at the Mount Hope Event Center in Mount Hope, Ohio. Broodmares, broodmare prospects, race horses, and stallion shares. Pedigrees announced by Ed Teefee and Gabe Pruitt. Online bidding, clean, heated facility. The North American Standard Bred Mix Sale. A live auction to see quality horses with industry-leading pedigrees. Tuesday, December 17th in Mount Hope, Ohio. Entries open September 5th.
When you need supplies for your horse, one name stands out, Big D's. Since 1976, Big D's Tack and Vet Supply has been the equine experts you can trust. Whatever your horse needs is available at Big D's Tack and Vet Supply. Visit the retail outlet in Streetsboro, Ohio, or order online at BigDWeb.com for fast shipping. Most orders ship that day. Or call 1-800-321-2142. Big D's Tack and Vet Supply.
The Delaware County Fair, where history meets horsepower. Get ready for the thrill of a lifetime as the world-famous Little Brown Jug takes center stage. Witness the heart-pounding action, the thundering hooves, and the sheer determination of these incredible athletes compete for the coveted Little Brown Jug title. Don't miss your chance to be a part of history. For ticket and hospitality options, visit littlebrownjug.com. The Little Brown Jug, where champions are made and legends are born. Be there!
Doug, we are back. Day 1 at Van Wert. And saying you just saw a comment updating us where Hank Levan is today.
Hank Levan is a new father.
Say, well, congratulations to him and Megan.
Yes. I would have to think they're watching.
Oh, well, congratulations. I believe that makes them a family of 5. Family of 5 now.
I know the little boy, I believe his name's Perry. He had a birthday just this last first of the week, I believe. Somebody wondered what the double paid. We would announce that, but they didn't post the double. Can't believe it would be a whole lot. Probably $8 maybe. 2 favorites, the front and back half.
During our commercial break, Doug, I don't know if you noticed on the track, we have quite a few of our ladies out warming up for another leg of the Spring Haven Farm Ladies Driving Series. That is just a few races away. They will go, a field of 6 will go head-to-head in race 6. So just a couple more to get us through before we see the girls.
And then the ladies come back Monday. It's all over what we call overnight races, no stake races. Van Wert, this grandstand would be packed for a thoroughbred back in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and then it just started to fizzle out. Heard they can't get jockeys really come over if they have a day off from Indiana Downs. They probably don't want to come and ride, at a county fair. So fans here in Van Wert really like some kind of racing on Labor Day, so the harness racing department here offers what they call overnight races, no stake races, just non-winners of 2,500 this year, and probably an open pace and the ladies' pace. So it'll be a big day here on Labor Day, but the OHHA will not be covering that.
We will not, unfortunately, be covering that day. Simply, we don't have the camera equipment and the freelance employees to get us here that day, because I believe that is a 4-day or a 4-race day. So we just kind of unfortunately go a little thin and want to make sure that we cover those stakes for certain for everybody.
Tomorrow, the OHH cameras will be at the Stark County Fair in Canton on Wednesday the 28th and Thursday the 29th. That's a noon post time each day at Canton, the 28th and 29th. The Hancock County Fair in Findlay, Wednesday the 28th and Thursday the 29th, both the 6 o'clock start. That's at Findlay tomorrow evening. Friday, the only fair going on, that's August 30th at Burton, the Cuyahoga County Fair, a 4:30 start. That's at Burton. The only fair going on will be at Burton Cuyahoga County Fair this Friday. Then it's a busy weekend. Labor Day weekend, Canfield, the Mahoning County Fair, Saturday the 31st, Monday the 2nd, both 11 a.m. post. Wauseon, Saturday the 31st. They skip a few days, come back Tuesday, September 3rd, Saturday the 31st at 11:30 post time, Tuesday evening, a 6 o'clock post time. Also this weekend at the Richwood Independent Fair, I believe, are you going to be at Richwood?
I will be.
You'll be at Richwood. Sunday, September 1st at 11 a.m. Monday the 2nd, Labor Day, a 1 o'clock start. Marietta is also that weekend. Sunday the 1st at 1 and Monday the 2nd at 1. So a lot of harness racing action coming up this weekend, Labor Day weekend, throughout the state of Ohio.
Doug, what is your schedule? We had mentioned that, so actually Matt and I, for the next couple of days, will find ourselves in Findlay, and then I do head to Richwood next week, during the Labor Day weekend. But what about you?
I will be here Thursday, it's 11:30 post time. And then I get Friday off, and Saturday I go to Wauseon with the Ohio Harness Horsemen. And then Sunday and Monday I'll be calling the races this year at Richwood, and then back to Wauseon on Tuesday.
Gotcha. No, and you do a lot of, I guess, the northwestern part of Ohio, as far as helping us out, because you're kind of, I want to say you're not super local, but you are from.
This is an easy drive for me, right down 127, heading north 25 miles.
Doug, we've talked in the past, of course you do Greenville, Urbana. What is your other favorite fairs you think you've?
Oh, I got a lot of favorite. That's my long 51 years at each now, going on 52 for Greenville, and every fair is something special, wherever you go. Naturally, my home fair, Salina, Lancaster, Washington Court. I just don't want to name them because I'd have to name them all. And I think I do 18 this year. Maybe I'm doing 22 to 23, calling the races, working some extra ones this year, and probably going to get to 32, 34 fairs with the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association work. So.
Lots of miles, but here we go. We're going to introduce a field of 4. Here is Bill with our post parade.
Amazing Racing Stable 2024. One is Ruckin' Remy, owned, trained, and driven by Derek Flowers of Jackson, Mississippi. Number 2 is Evil L, owned by Levan Stables Incorporated and Megan Levan of Woodstock, Ohio, and Richard Fries of Northfield, Ohio. The driver is Harrison Levan. Number 3 is Granite Ridge Lady, owned by Red Rock Racing LLC of Convoy, Ohio, trained by Chad Williams and the driver Mark St. Louis Jr. Number 4 is My Sweet Caroline, owned and trained by Ashley Burke of Mount Vernon, Ohio, the driver Drew Neal. Horses will take one long score and go to the gate. Mutual.
Just a small field of 4 head into the first division of 2-year-old filly Pacers, a purse of $6,378. On the 1, Derek Flowers does train and drive Rockin' Remy. This 2-year-old by the Panda Rosa has hit the board 6 of 10 starts with 2 wins. That last win did come back at Bowling Green the end of July, so just about a month ago. Went wire to wire in 2:05 and 3. Most recently, however, did have a start at Scioto Downs and a 2-year-old, non-winners of 1. Had a 4th place finish, so didn't really quite hit the board, but was in the money. Went that mile at Scioto in 1:55 and 4.
Harris Levan drives the 2 Evil L. From the Levan stable, the 2-year-old bay filly by Fear the Dragon. 14 starts, has 4 wins, 6 seconds, 3/3, $20,500. A mark at Wapakoneta, about 5 back of 2:02. Last time out was 3rd, beaten 3.5, timed in 2:01 and 3. That was at Lima, the 2 Evil L.
Mark St. Louis Jr. will try to go 3 for 3 on our 3-horse Granite Ridge Lady. Chad Williamson does train this black filly by Dancing Yankee. Is a 2-year-old, kind of coming on just a touch later. Only 3 lifetime starts. Has hit the board a couple of times. Ended up going really 2 back at Wapak. Had a 2nd place finish. Was beaten by about a neck in 2:02 and 1. However, very first start out at Tiffin did end up going in 2 minutes and 3/5 for a 4th place finish.
For My Sweet Caroline, Drew Neal drives for Ashley Burke, the 2-year-old bay filly by Rockin' Amadeus. 4 starts, is yet to hit the board. Last time out, timed in 11 and 2 at Mansfield. Field of 4, all in behind the Mike Wepkenberg starting gate. Let's turn it over to Bill Peters.
Outside. Here they come. The year off and pacing the first horse away at the rail is Rockin' Remy. Up on the outside, second is Granite Ridge Lady. Racing in their third is Evil L. And the last horse is My Sweet Caroline. As they make the turn now to head down the backside to race over that quarter-mile mark, Derek Flowers has Rockin' Remy on top by a length and a half. Pacing in their second, that's Granite Ridge Lady, driven by Mark St. Louis Jr. Third is Evil L, driven by Harrison Levan. And the last horse is My Sweet Caroline, driven by Drew Neal. No change as they go to the quarter-mile mark. That's still Rockin' Remy by a length and a half over Granite Ridge Lady. First quarter paced in 29 and 4/5 seconds. As they race around that upper turn to come down past the stand for the first time. That's Derek Flowers with Rockin' Remy on top by 2 lengths. Granite Ridge Lady sits in there second. Closing in a wee bit third now is Evil L. The last horse is My Sweet Caroline. Coming down to the half-mile mark, that's Derek Flowers and Rockin' Remy bringing the horses down to the half. Closing in second now, that's Granite Ridge Lady. And right there third is Evil L, followed by My Sweet Caroline fourth. First half paced in 59 and 2/5 seconds. As they round the turn now to head down the backside to race over that 3/4 mile mark. Granite Ridge Lady paces up on the outside to pour on the pressure on Rockin' Remy. Racing third is Evil L, and the last horse, My Sweet Caroline. Going toward that 3/4 mile mark, Rockin' Remy answers the call and paces right on. Dropping in second once again is Granite Ridge Lady, Evil L third, and then farther back fourth is My Sweet Caroline. 3 quarters in 129 and 2/5 as they race around that upper turn to head for pay dirt. Mark St. Louis comes back out with Granite Ridge Lady, and now moving up 3 wide is Evil L, but still with the lead along the rail is Rockin' Remy. That's Rockin' Remy, Granite Ridge Lady, and Evil L as they race for home. Rockin' Remy at the rail. On the outside second, Granite Ridge Lady, and 3 wide Evil L. Rockin' Remy and Granite Ridge Lady. It's going to be Rockin' Remy, and here the outcome. Granite Ridge Lady up for place. And up for third is Evil L. A mile in 2 minutes and 2/5.
2:02 and excuse me, no, not 2:02.
2 minutes, 2/5. Lifetime mark for Rockin' Remy.
They were just 1/5 off of the record for 2-year-old filly pacers.
Derek Flowers trains and drives and owns the 2-year-old bay filly by the Panda Rosa. $3,500 purchase last fall. Earnings now right at $13,000 for Rockin' Remy on the year. Lifetime mark Ashley, you mentioned just a few ticks off of the track record for Philly Pacers. 29-4, 59-2, 29-2, home in 2 minutes and 2/5. Rockin' Remy gets season's win number 3.
Did have them unofficially, but it wasn't too hard to call across the wire. 1-3-2-4. Doug, as you mentioned, was just Rockin' Remy, our winner, was just a $3,500 purchase out of the Blooded Horse sale, which did go today. Had a handful of yearlings from Midland Acres in there.
The sun
Is
we're facing north, and it's coming right in on us now.
Matt called it. He warned me earlier it was going to come in eventually.
Wait till tomorrow.
You're making me nervous. I might fry. But here we go. Derek Flowers, winning trainer and driver, making his way back into the winner's circle.
Way from Jackson, Mississippi, comes number 1, Rockin' Remy, owned, trained, and driven to victory by Derek Flowers. The blanket for this race is courtesy of Cooper Grain Farm LLC / Amazing Racing Stable 2024, and Rod Cooper is in the winner's circle for the trophy presentation. Let's have a big hand here for Derek Flowers and Rockin' Remy at the Cooper Grain Farm LLC / Amazing Racing Stable 2024, the donors of the blanket. Race 3 from the top. One, Rockin' Remy was the winner. Number 2, Evil L was third. Number 3, Granite Ridge Lady was second. Number 4, My Sweet Caroline was fourth. Time of the first quarter was 29 4/5. The half was in 59 2/5. The 3 quarters in 129 2/5, with a mile in 2 minutes and 2/5. From the top, it should read 1, 3, 2, 4 on the bottom. The mile in 2 minutes and 2/5.
It's on to the 4th, 3-year-old Philly Trotters. 12,000 on the line, a field of 6. Pierce Henry to drive the 3, May Blumen. 5, Phyllis L. Louis Levan. Nice purse there, 12,000. Full gate of 6 for the 4th. Checking our Facebook, the watching from Florida. Rhonda Ritter, mother of Mike Wilder, is watching in Florida with us. So, Ashley, it's on to the 4th, 3-year-old Philly Trotters. We'll be back to take a look at this field of 6 right after this.
Own a little and love it a lot. TheStable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. TheStable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at TheStable.ca.
At Ohio State's Galbraith Equine Center, our veterinary champions are here for your champions 24/7, 365 days a year. Our expert team of boarded surgeons, sports medicine and rehabilitation specialists, together with veterinary cardiologists, internal medicine, and ophthalmologists, make our hospital your best resource for all sport horse performance issues. The Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center's Galbraith Equine Hospital. Call us today at 614-292-6661.
Thanks for joining us back here at Van Wert. 10 races on the docket today. We are headed next into race 4. Seems to be the first and only division for 3-year-old Philly Trotters.
Field of 6 for 12,000, beginning with the 1, Oh Well Bell. John Koneski the 3rd. This is a $12,000 Buckeye Classic purchase 2 years ago. 3-year-old Bay Phillip at Watt the Hill has 6 starts. has 1/3, a little over 2,000 in the bank. Last time out at Hicksville, finished third, beaten 13.5, timed in 2:04 and 1. The one, Owell Bell and John Koneski.
Drew Neal will drive Miss Enterprise, leaving from the second post position for Rosie Weaver. 3-year-old filly by Enterprise was unstarted as a freshman, does only have 8 lifetime starts made all this year. Of course, most recently, Wellington did have a 4th place finish in 2:05 and 2, but a handful back from that at Marysville did have a 2nd place in 2:05 flat. Drew in the bike for both of those starts has made about $4,000 so far this year.
3, May Blumen. Pierce Henry for Greg Diamond, the 3-year-old bay filly by full count. 4 starts, 2 seconds, 2/3. Last year, as a 2-year-old, had 2 wins. 2:05 and 3 last year. Wassey on lifetime, $19,000 for the 3, May Blumen and Pierce Henry.
Ed Greeno Jr. does train and drive our 4-horse just on time. Another filly by Enterprise, owned by E.G. Trott out of Findlay, Ohio. 2 starts back, did have a 3rd place finish despite quite a few miscues in that mile. However, back from that in May 21st at Scioto Downs, had a pretty nice qualifier, ended up 3rd in 2 minutes at, again, Scioto final quarter in 29 and 3. Coming back quite a bit slower as a sophomore, just 4 starts on the year with that 1 3rd place finish I had mentioned. However, as a freshman, did have 13 starts with 3 wins on that board.
5, Phyllis L. Louis Levan drives for the Levan stable. This 3-year-old bay filly's by Long Tom. 3 wins and 19 starts, 4 seconds, 3/3, so right there about every start. 28,000, 59,000 lifetime, 58 and 2 at Scioto Downs. Last time out at Lima, finished 2nd, beaten 2 3/4, timed in 2:03 and 1. The 5, Phyllis L.
Rounding out the field, Mark St. Louis Jr. will drive the 6, Lead in Star for Steve Novak. What the Hill filly, 16 starts on the year with 3 wins, 3 seconds, and 2 third-place finishes, has made just over $16,000 as a sophomore. Most recently had a 3rd-place finish at Hicksville. However, a handful back, the last win did come at Tiffin, wire-to-wire in 2:02 and 4 with Mark in that bike. Lifetime, Lead and Star has made about $24,000 with a lifetime mark made at Oak Harbor earlier this year in 2:01 and 2. Looks like we are still waiting for a few horses to make their way to the track. We do score 6 wide here at Van Wert, so we have no trailers in our upcoming field. If you're following along in a program, as Doug went through the changes, Pierce Henry does drive the 3, Louis Levan, to drive the 5-horse, Phyllis L. Hank Levan, we want to congratulate him again. He is not with us this evening as he has welcomed his 3rd child. Congratulations,
yes, congratulations to
him,
Hank.
And his wife,
Megan. Jerry Lighthill checks in from Wassey on. Just got our power back on after a powerful storm.
Oh.
So that would be north of here. Maybe that's when we got that little bit of breeze, about 45 minutes ago.
How terrible is that?
Maybe that's what that breeze left us. Tammy Boroff checks in. Robin Schmidt checks in.
So we did have a 3-year-old colt trotter. We had a new record for that division. So our track has been pretty fast this evening. Headed in to our first and only division of 3-year-old filly trotters. Taking a look, it is currently tied. That division track record is 2:02 and 1. Tied in, set in 2002 by Donder Kate. Trained by Jeff Miller at the time, and it was tied just a handful of years ago in 2020 at Greeno Jr. in Lady Silhouette, 2:02 and 1. Hopefully we will see our our field of 6 gun it. Possibly another track record.
As we mentioned, Labor Day, they are back at it here with harness racing. As in the past, probably the last 3 or 4 years, they've had harness racing instead of the thoroughbreds. But when they had the thoroughbreds, as I mentioned, they would just pack this grandstand. They would have thoroughbreds, and then they would scrape the track, and they would have harness at night.
So that was going to be my question, Doug. So we race on quite different materials, and also they don't really race miles; they race furlong. So do you know how they would measure that out? Do they just race a mile for this?
They
Or
had
would
what they
have?
called the Van Wert County Derby, and I think they would go a mile.
Okay.
But a lot of times they would go, it might be a quarter-mile dash here, since they don't have a furlong is an eighth of a mile. I'm right. I think I am right on that. A furlong is an eighth of a mile.
As I say, I know that generally their races are just
Yes.
over our length, just a touch.
But I think when they did have the thoroughbreds here, I remember they did have the Van Wert Derby, and it would be for a mile. But they would, scrape the track and then have to put it back. They'd have to scrape it for the harness to get it. Because it would be so deep for the thoroughbreds in the afternoon, and they might be finished racing at 5 o'clock, and the thoroughbreds might start at 7:30. It would be a late night.
I was going to say, because a lot of our
Yes.
thoroughbreds actually race daytime.
Yes.
Trained and by John Kineski III. Number 2 is Ms. Enterprise, owned by Sharon Silcott of Orient, Ohio, trained by Rosie Weaver, the driver Drew Neal. Number 3 is My Blumon, owned and trained by Greg Diamond of Bell, Florida, the driver Pierce Henry. Number 4 is Just on Time, owned by E.G. Trot LLC of Findlay, trained and driven by Ed Greeno Jr. Number 5 is Phyllis L., owned by Levan Stables Incorporated, Megan Levan of Woodstock, Ohio, and Rosemary Levan of Lewistown, Ohio, trained by Hank Levan. The driver is Louis Levan. At number 6 is Leading Star, owned by Jerry Migel of Westland, Michigan, trained by Steve Novak. The driver, Mark St. Louis Jr. Horses will take one long score and go to the gate. Mute your windows, closing in 4 minutes.
So there we go. A field of 6 headed into the only division of 3-year-old filly trotters, purse of $12,000. Kind of finishing our conversation about the thoroughbreds that Van Wert once held. So did they would haul a starting gate?
Yeah, they might have had their own gate. Back in the day, in the 60s and maybe early 70s, thoroughbred racing, it has always been strong here, but toward Paulding, there was a thoroughbred training center up there where they would swim horses, and it's located just at the edge of the fairground there in Paulding, and I believe that's where the gate would come from. Yeah, they had a gate. It was maybe an old-fashioned gate, wouldn't be up-to-dated like you'd see, but always a big day. Like they went at noon, and then the harness would go that evening maybe at 7:30. But like I say, I remember growing up at my hometown of Salina. I can remember thoroughbred racing there. Had a good old horse gentleman by the name of Grant Freisinger. Had a thoroughbred, My Boy Willie, I believe was his name, My Boy Willie. And we do have one thoroughbred at our, one or two at our fairground now that races at Belterra.
Belterra.
That would be in Cincinnati.
It is.
Right?
I was
Yep.
blanking
Yep.
on that because we have Thistle Downs
Yeah.
more towards the Northfield, Cleveland area.
Yep.
And say I know that not too many thoroughbred tracks here, but Standardbred's still very strong. We've got, Northfield does pretty much go year round. They kind of split it up into two race, I don't know how they say it, like seasons cards. But really race year round. And of course, our southern circuit, we've got Miami Valley, kind of kicks us off the first of the year in the winter, and then we move to Scioto Downs, which we are currently in for our summer meet, and then we'll move to Dayton
And I looked
Raceway.
this afternoon, they have 8 stations, I believe, 12 stations left. 12 stations left of a 90-day meet at Scioto Downs. And they'll close the night before the jug, and then the jug goes the 15th through the 19th of 5 days. And then the following Tuesday, Hollywood Gaming at Dayton opens up, and I'm always ready for that. I can drive that in about an hour and 10 minutes, go down and just relax. Maybe fill in for Barry a time or so before we go to Florida, but the fairs are over. It's all behind me. I can go down there and just relax and bet a couple bucks.
I do like that Dayton had, because they didn't always. They recently changed where they took that kind of weekend after the jug off. They used to
Yes.
go, directly that
Yes.
Friday they would
Yes.
start racing. So I thought that was a great move, and I know that we appreciate that kind of break as well. But here we go, a field of 6. We're going to roll it over to Bill Peters for the call of the 4th.
Here they come. They're off and trotting. The first horse away on the outside is Leading Star. Between horse and second, down at the rail is My Blumon. Up on the outside third is Phyllis L. Now off stride goes Just on Time. Also off stride is Leading Star. Also off stride went Oh Well Bell. As they head down the backside to race over to that quarter-mile mark, Louis Levan has Phyllis L on top by 2.5 lengths. Trotting in there second is My Blumon, driven by Pierce Henry. Racing third is Ms. Enterprise, driven by Drew Neal. Fourth is Just on Time, driven by Ed Greeno Jr. Fifth is Leading Star, driven by Mark St. Louis. And the last horse is Oh Well Bell, driven by John Kineski. First quarter trotted in 31 and 2/5 seconds. As they race around that upper turn to come down past the stand for the first time, it is Phyllis L by 2 lengths. Racing in there second is My Blumon. Closing in third as they race down to the half is Ms. Enterprise. Now moving up on the outside fourth. As they come down to the half, that's Leading Star. Also on the move is Just on Time, and farther back sixth is Oh Well Bell. First half trotted in 103 and 2/5. As they round the turn now to head down the backside to race over that 3/4 mile mark. That's Phyllis L along the rail with the lead. Pouring on the pressure to the outside second is Leading Star. At the rail third is My Blumon. Moving up on the outside fourth is Ms. Enterprise. Moving up fifth now is Oh Well Bell. And the last horse is Just on Time. Going to the 3/4 mile mark, the front four are well bunched. That's Phyllis L along the rail with the lead. Leading Star on the outside second. And now 3 wide comes Ms. Enterprise. And locked in with no place to go is My Blumon. 3/4 in 133 as they race around that upper turn to head for pay dirt. That's Phyllis L with the lead. Leading Star on the outside second. My Blumon along the rail third. And on the outside fourth, it's Ms. Enterprise as they race for home. That's Phyllis L, Leading Star, and Ms. Enterprise. Phyllis L, and now coming at the rail is My Blumon. Phyllis L and My Blumon right together at the finish. Phyllis L and My Blumon. Tight for third there between Leading Star and Ms. Enterprise. A mile in 2:03 and 2/5.
Pierce Henry slips up the inside with May Blumon, I believe, to nip Phyllis L on the line. That would make you sick. $6,000 in your pocket down to 3 just by a nose. That's what I saw it as. The 3, May Blumon, 31 and 2, 3 and 2, 133, 203 and 2. Phyllis L did all the work. May Blumon, the Meadow Fishery, come up the rail. The final stride, I believe, it nips the 5, Phyllis L.
So I was hoping we would see Louis Levan in the winner's circle. He doesn't drive very many at all anymore. Of course, Hank Levan is his oldest son, who does all of the training anymore. But Pierce Henry, it's hard to deny when Pierce is up on this circuit with us. I mean, he just tears it up.
Yes.
Pierce making his way back in front of the grandstand. This makes for the first seasonal win.
Greg Diamond owns and trains of Bell, Florida. The 3-year-old Bay filly by Full Count was a $7,000 yearling purchase 2 years ago. Earnings now $25,000, a new lifetime mark. First win of the season in only 5 starts. So the 3 May Blumon probably had something going on this year that only has 4 starts. Got a slow start.
waiting for those official. Here we go.
The top. Number 1, Oh Well Bell was 5th. Number 2, Ms. Enterprise was 4th. Number 3, My Blumon was the winner. Number 4, Just On Time was 6th. Number 5, Phyllis L was 2nd. Number 6, Leading Star was 3rd. Time of the first quarter was 31 2/5. Correction on that halftime. The halftime was 102 2/5. The 3 quarters in 133 with a mile in 203 2/5. From the top it should read 541 623, a mile in 203 2/5. New lifetime mark on My Blumon.
Well, it's on to the 5th, a field of 4 3-year-old colt trotters for $6,100. Harrison Levan will drive the 1, Jogging Bank Shot. Pierce Henry to drive the 2, Rose Run Zeb. We'll be back to take a look at the 5th race, 3-year-old trotters, right after this.
Do you want your horse to shine in the winner's circle? Feed DAC Oil. It makes a world of difference.
For over 50 years, Midland Acres has provided top-quality Ohio-bred colts and fillies. As a third-generation farm, we understand the importance of delivering well-cared-for and well-mannered yearlings. Get in the winner's circle with the yearlings by Fear the Dragon, Yankee Cruiser, Long Tom, Summa Cum Laude, Ready for Money, and Bit of a Legend. See our yearlings at the Blooded Horse Sale August 27th and the Ohio Select Sale September 13th.
Doug, we are back here at Van Wert, headed into race 5, I believe the second division of 3-year-old colt trotters. Another small field of 4 will go forth. It's been a pretty nice evening, and the sun is really starting to say it is setting, but it is right on
Not
us.
quick enough. Not quick enough.
Not a whole lot of wind, but we're in a pretty nice grandstand. It's almost 100 years old. I think I saw a plaque when I was walking in. It was built kind of the late 1920s, but it's in pretty decent condition.
Oh, yes.
You can tell that they do take care of it.
So our 5th race, 3-year-old trotters, a field of 4, the 1 Jogging Bank Shot. Harrison Levan drives for the Levan stable, 20 starts, has 3 wins, 4 seconds, 2 thirds, 20,000 on the year. Last time out, 2 minutes at Lima for the 1 Jogging Bank Shot.
Pierce Henry will drive the 2 Rose Run Zeb for Tyler Bates, owned by Susan Bates of Gibsonburg and Joel Shavak of Woodville, Ohio. This is a 3-year-old gelding by Triumphant Caviar. Has hit the board 13 times in 19 starts this season with 4 wins. Was on a little bit of a streak, or I guess I should say is on a little bit of a streak. Last 2 starts out had wins. Most recently at Lima with Austin Hanners in the bike in 2:02.2.
3, You Don't Fool Me, Drew Neal for Rosie Weaver, the 3-year-old bay gelding son of Long Tom. Has 1 win this year, 21,724, 157 earlier in the year at Miami Valley. Line to be announced on 8/26. Do you have an update on that?
I do believe that was a scratch.
Oh, that was a scratch.
Yep, from Mount Gilead.
Okay, at Mount Gilead. Okay.
Rounding out our field is the 4 Super Begonia. Ed Greeno Jr. does train Cody Jr. Greeno. If I could talk tonight, that would be fantastic. Cody Greeno in the bike. Still looking for the first lifetime win for this 3-year-old gelding by Enterprise. Last start out at Hicksville had a 4th place finish. However, another start back from that at Napoleon on August 13th. Did have a 3rd in 2:05.4. This gelding has made about $6,100 lifetime.
And the 4 Super Begonia, you look, the Greeno stables had Super Begonia the last 2 starts. It looks like it was a private sale, maybe from the Sherald Haynes. They race out of Michigan, where the Haynes had raced it, back in early July and late June and last year. Out of the Sprightly Begonia, the dam. I remember announcing Sprightly Begonia a few years ago at the county fairs for the Hayneses. So that's a look at the field for the 5th race, 2nd division up, the 3-year-old Colt Trot, a field of 4. As we said, it's a busy weekend on Labor Day. The OHHC cameras are at about 3 places. I know you and I both will be at Richwood. But coming up, starting the 15th, it'd be the 5 days of Delaware, presented by the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association. Can you fill us in on a little bit of what might be going on there?
Oh, good question, Doug.
It's all up in the air, yeah?
No, so pretty similar to, of course, what we have in the past. 5 full days of coverage, starting with our trackside lives. And, of course, on Wednesday and Thursday, Jug, Et, and Jug Day, we will have our speaker series, hoping to have 2, is it 2 each morning?
Very well could be.
I
yes.
think it's going to depend on how many races. Last year we cut it short
Yes.
because they started at noon because there was like 24
And
races.
we might have started 11 or 11:30 on Jug Day
Yeah.
because there was 25.
Yeah. So I think we did have to cut one short in the morning. And I don't imagine there's going to be a shortage of horses this year
No.
for it. So
That's what I was co-hosting at Troy with Jay Wolf, and he was mentioning that, with his gig with the Jug, he likes to keep track of how many entries are at each fair, so Delaware can kind of plan and know if they need to add any overnights. And he said that every single fair but one has had an increase in entries, so I'm sure the Jug will be pretty large again this year.
That we open it up on a Sunday. I believe that's a 1 o'clock post. I don't have my Huff Guide here. Monday, Tuesday, all 1. And then I believe at noon on Jugette Day on Wednesday and noon on Jug Day Thursday. But that Wednesday and Thursday easily could be moved up, with the amount of races that they get carded.
Right. And that's what I was thinking about it actually earlier today. How long have we allowed supplementals into the Jug? It's only been a handful of years.
Well, if Jay Wolf's listening, he'll probably let us know. But
because Charlie May could not.
Charlie May could not, and that
So-
would have been the year that was
21?
in 21.
Yeah, 21. So
Starting
pretty
in
new.
22.
And also something.
Well, now, Charlie May, if he would have won the Meadowlands, been declared the winner of the Meadowlands Pace, then he would have been eligible.
Right.
Yes.
And that kind of, because that took so long for Don Tiger, the owner. Unfortunately, I know it was a big disappointment for a lot of us that follow Ohio racing. Charlie was, still really so remarkable, but definitely as a 2- and 3-year-old. Looks like we only have 1 out for our field of 4 for race 5. 10 on the docket tonight, so almost halfway there. Make sure you don't leave after our 5th race. Our ladies are up next. Just a single division for the Spring Haven Farm Ladies Driving Series. We will see the girls a field of 6 up next.
Nice crowd on hand tonight for the heat. We're back at it. We're back at it here at 11:30 on Thursday. I believe that's what they have. Their Veterans Day. They have a meal. They have a tent set up there now. I can see at the edge of the grandstand, west edge of the grandstand, and I believe it will be Veterans Day on Thursday. It's always a big day here where they feed the veterans and honor them with a song. The Army song, the Marine song. Then they stand when they play their song. So that will be a big day here Thursday at the Van Wert County Fair.
Say there are a lot of people who like to bring their own chairs.
Yep.
Right on the fence.
Every fair is different. Every fair has its, own personality, you could say.
That is a good way to look at it. Absolutely. I think, I had asked you earlier, some of your favorites, but they're also different.
Yep.
How do you compare? Of course, I everybody has personal ties to one or two here and there, but they're all so different.
One of the neatest fairs that I think last year was my second year, or this year was my second year at Croton. It's an independent fair, the Hartford Independent Fair. It's just out in no man's land in a cornfield, and it's all blacktop around the whole racetrack and white buildings with red roofs and a historic judges stand. It's a real neat judges stand.
I was trying to hear Bill. I think he just mentioned a post parade, but I don't even see all of them out.
I see two.
I think the third horse is just making his way onto the track.
Now, have you ever been to Lancaster?
I have, only once though.
Okay, but not with. You'll probably be there this fall, most
Yeah.
likely with the Ohio Harness Horsemen.
You talk about a beautiful,
yes,
beautiful
that is a
setting.
beautiful. And I believe this will be my second year. Last year was my first year there, and it's a neat fair. Last year was great weather. They say you never know what you're going to get. That winter coat you had at Lima a week ago tonight,
right.
You might have a Lancaster 2 months from now.
Megan Levan also of Woodstock. Richard Fries of Northfield, Ohio, and Robert Weiner of London, Ohio. Trained by Hank Levan, the driver Harrison Levan. Number 2 is Rose Run Zeb. By Suzanne Bates of Gibsonburg, Ohio, and Joel Shivak of Woodville, Ohio. Trained by Ty Bates, the driver Pierce Henry. Number 3 is You Don't Fool Me, by Rosie Weaver of Beach City and Heartland Acres of Wall Hunting, trained by Rosie Weaver, the driver Drew Neal. Number 4 is Super Begonia, by E.G. Trot LLC of Findlay, trained by Ed Greeno Jr., the driver Cody Greeno. Horses will take one long score and go to the...
There is your post parade for the 5th. A field of 4 to go forward for that second division of 3-year-old colt trotters. Doug, the last time I was with Jay at Troy, we were talking about kind of bucket list tracks that you'd like to get to. Of course, Lancaster, if you haven't been there, it's it's worth the drive. It's beautiful. It's such a neat setting. But Rock Springs, we hear a lot about Rock Springs. That's not a place I've been, so I would say that's probably my number 1 to get to as far as the Ohio County fairs go. And I have never been to the Meadowlands.
I never have either. Never been to the Meadowlands.
And we were talking about thoroughbreds earlier just because Van Wert at one time did host a pretty big card of thoroughbreds a handful of years ago. Del Mar in Southern California is a place that I have to get to at some point.
Now, have you ever been to Keeneland?
No.
I actually got my season pass there just one day last week. They open up October 5th, and I'll definitely be there 3 or 4 times and maybe hit the Red Mile once or so for their Grand Circuit meet.
And that's what I'm always pretty honest. I don't know much about thoroughbreds. I've been to Belterra a couple of times, but honestly only watched a handful of races in person. I guess they say, of course, yearly we're going to watch the Kentucky Derby on the TV, but only watched a handful of thoroughbred races in my time. Actually, so I have a quarter horse that I ride kind of on a personal, just hang out, and he was an outriding pony on Belterra, so that's kind of where I picked him up from.
Look across the way, field of 4 have completed their score. Mike and Becky Wepkenberg have the Wepkenberg starting gate set and ready to receive these trotters as the wings of the gate will open momentarily. Field of 4 making their turn and heading to the gate. The gate's rolling, it's post time.
Jogging bank shot. On comes Rose Run Zeb. You Don't Fool Me with Super Begonia on the outside. They're at the post. Starting gate is rolling now. Here they come. The year off and trotting. The first horse away is jogging. It is Rosen Zeb. At the rail second is jogging Bank Shot. Moving up third is You Don't Fool Me with Super Begonia, the last horse. As they make the turn now to head down the backside to race over toward that quarter-mile mark, Pierce Henry has Rose Run Zeb on top by 3 lengths. Trotting in there second is jogging Bank Shot, driven by Harrison Levan. Racing third is You Don't Fool Me, driven by Drew Neal. And the last horse is Super Begonia, driven by Cody Greeno. Going past that quarter-mile mark, it is still Rose Run Zeb with the lead. Racing second, jogging Bank Shot. First quarter trotted in 30 and 2/5 seconds. As they race around that upper turn to come down past the stands for the first time, that's Rose Run Zeb now opening up about 4 lengths on jogging Bank Shot. You Don't Fool Me still racing in there third, and the last horse, Super Begonia. No change as they race down toward the half. That's Pierce Henry and Rose Run Zeb bringing the horses down to the half. Closing in second, that's jogging Bank Shot with You Don't Fool Me right there third, followed by Super Begonia fourth. First half trotted in 101 and 2/5. As they round the turn now to head down the backside to race over to that 3/4 mile mark. The one to catch is Rose Run Zeb. The closest horse second is jogging Bank Shot. Still racing third is You Don't Fool Me with Super Begonia farther back fourth. The pace picks up a wee bit going down the backside. Up on the outside now comes jogging Bank Shot to pour on the pressure on Rose Run Zeb. You Don't Fool Me racing third and followed by Super Begonia fourth. 3/4 in 130 and 2/5 as they race around that upper turn to head for pay dirt. That's Rose Run Zeb at the rail and jogging Bank Shot on the outside. Now jogging Bank Shot takes over and dropping back second is Rose Run Zeb. And now Drew Neal goes to work on You Don't Fool Me as he races toward home. That's jogging Bank Shot, Rose Run Zeb, and You Don't Fool Me. But past the stands, it's going to be jogging Bank Shot. And here the outcome. Looked like You Don't Fool Me got up for place with Rose Run Zeb for third. A mile in 2 minutes and 1/5.
2 minutes and 1/5 for our winner jogging Bank Shot. Harrison Levan gets his second win on the year, one that we don't see too much in the bike. Hank Levan is out for this evening, welcoming his third child. So Harrison gets it done for his brother Hank, our trainer. Fourth win on the season in 21 starts, goes 3 in a row for jogging Bank Shot. I have them unofficially across the wire in 1-3-2-4. Thought Rose Run Zeb was going to try to go gate to wire, pulled away quite a bit out of our gate at the start of our race, however just could not get it done with Pierce Henry. Ends up third in our second division for 3-year-old colt trotters. Our winner, jogging Bank Shot, did go off 8-5 as the public's second choice. Here comes Harrison back in front of the grandstand.
And now moving down the track into the winner's circle, where the winners go. Coming in from Woodstock, Northfield, and London, Ohio, comes number 1, jogging Bank Shot. Owned by Levan Stables, Megan Levan, Richard Fries, and Robert Weiner. Trained by Hank Levan and driven to victory this evening by his brother Harrison Levan. Now this is the Leonard Steeman Memorial Blanket, and members of the Steeman family are in the winner's circle for the trophy presentation. Let's have a big hand here for Louis and Harrison Levan, Kevin Wolf, and jogging Bank Shot, and the members of the Steeman family for giving this blanket in Leonard's memory. 5 from the top. Number 1, Jogging Bank Shot was the winner. Number 2, Rose Run Zeb was third. Number 3, You Don't Fool Me was second. Number 4, Super Begonia was fourth. Time of the first quarter was 30 2/5. The half was in 101 2/5. The 3/4 in 130 2/5 with a mile in 2 minutes and 1/5. From the top it should read 1, 3, 2, 4 on the bottom. The mile in 2 minutes and 1/5.
Well, that's 3 in a row for Jogging Bank Shot. 2 minutes and a 1/5. Harrison Levan picks up the drive for his brother Hank. If you just joined us, we couldn't figure out where Hank was at this evening, but we found out he's a new father sometime today. And that will be how many did you say? Did you think, or somebody said?
I believe 3. This
Three.
would be
This would be the third child for.
We are going to move over back to Bill.
The Van Wert County Fair for several decades. And he's retiring, and we'll get the Van Wert County Egg Society. Aaron Niddle and Roger Wilkin are presenting Bob Nash with that blanket from the Van Wert County Egg Society for all his years of being the photo finish man here at the Van Wert County Fair. Let's have a big hand for Bob Nash, a longtime photo finish man here for the Van Wert County Fair and also many other fairs throughout the state of Ohio.
61 years. He's actually got you beat, Doug.
Yes.
Barely, but that's a long time.
Long time, and his father, Jerry Nash. Actually, Bob Nash and Roger Houston went to Sunday school together. And Bob Nash was a good high school basketball player in Xenia, and Roger would call at a very young age, just out of high school, or maybe even in high school. Roger would call the ball games for the radio station there. So Roger and Bob Nash go back a long way. Bob Nash, 61 years of service in the photo finish business. He used to do the old Lebanon Raceway, and he would do the Red Mile Sound, and I believe photo down there. Actually, he got me a photo from 1980 or 81. It's probably one of the only photos out when Annihilator went for that time trial. And 10 years later, Annihilator was at the Greenville Fair for just parading the horses one time or something. You could go meet him, and he autographed that time trial photo with his hoof for me. Somebody put a marking on it. Yeah. So, yeah, Bob Nash goes back a long way.
Did he just recently sell?
Yes,
his
just
photo
this
finish?
year.
Right, and I say it was not too terribly long ago.
No, just this year. It was a last minute thing. I think this spring he'd been ready to get out. You know, he was at I found out at Circleville. He worked Circleville, Greenville, Xenia, Wilmington. He did the jug for many years, him and his dad. He just gave the jug up probably 3 years ago.
Gotcha.
His dad did the jug before him.
I say we talk a lot about, how many people it takes to keep a fair going at every single fair that we do broadcast at. And Bob Nash is such a great example of a name that you don't hear and don't see his face very often because of where they're located. But there's so many people behind the scenes that do such a great job just doing what we have to do.
And there's nobody at Photo Finish any better or more particular than Bob Nash. It is done right, and it's just perfect. That's just Bob's way. It's just the way it is.
Well, congratulations to Bob Nash on many, many decades, and thank you, of course, to him for all of his service and dedication to our sport. We are going to flip the page and head next into the 6th race, our Division 1 leg of the Spring Haven Farm Ladies Driving Series. They're going to go for $800, but a field of 6 that we will introduce after a couple of messages from sponsors.
The future is bright in Ohio. Ohio Sire Stakes, Buckeye Stallion Series, 65 county and independent fairs. Whether it's the Ohio Sire Stakes, the Buckeye Stallion Series, or the County Fair, Ohio has a place for your racehorse. This year, Ohio breds are racing for over $20 million in stakes purses. Be part of the winning. Breed, buy, race, win in Ohio.
Volstead, Coach K Hanover, Slay, Ohio's top trotters stand at Dublin Valley Farms. Volstead's offspring include Sugar Instead, the 2023 Ohio 2-year-old Trotting Filly of the Year, and 2024 Ohio Sire Stakes winner Jurassic Hattie. Coach K Hanover, the son of world record holder Walner, and Slay, the son of Chapter 7, standing his first season at Dublin Valley Farms. When you need supplies for your horse, one name stands out: Big D's. Since 1976, Big D's Tack and Vet Supply has been the equine experts you can trust. Whatever your horse needs is available at Big D's Tack and Vet Supply. Visit the retail outlet in Streetsboro, Ohio, or order online at bigdweb.com for fast shipping. Most orders ship that day. Or call 1-800-321-2142. Big D's Tack and Vet Supply.
Welcome back to Van Wert. We are headed into the 6th race. The Spring Haven Farm Ladies Driving Series, just one division tonight. However, our ladies will come back on Monday at Van Wert to race again in their overnight card.
And then the top 8 ladies will compete at Delaware on Tuesday.
On Tuesday.
I believe that goes Tuesday.
I think Bill Peters actually does keep the points and put out the press releases. I know we did have an update maybe last week or so. I do believe it was Mandy Jones.
I believe Mandy was ahead
on top.
And I know one of the win at Greenville, Duck Dragon, is it? Emma Wahlberg, I believe, won at Greenville.
Yes.
She just got photoed out. I remember that night we worked together at Napoleon. That was a great race.
So that was, we can talk about it definitely as we go through the field, but Duck Dragon, I was happy to see him back in with Emma because he raced so tough at Lima. But like you said, Doug, at Napoleon was just nudged out. I'm trying to see how many girls we do have out with us. I think there's about half of the field, maybe 4 out. Sun has gone down, Doug. We finally, it is behind the tree, so it's not casting in on us in our grandstand tonight. A very nice grandstand, almost 100 years old or so, but I will say we're sitting on wooden seats, and I'm starting to feel it already.
Yeah.
Hank Levan left you a message.
Oh, he did?
He just introduced the youngest member of the Levan family to his older siblings. Sounds like they're having a pretty good day. Congratulations, Hank.
Yes, congratulations, Hank Levan, a great gentleman and a great family.
Ryan Miller did not ask me to drive Seeing Gray. Hank Levan, if you can put in a word for me next time you're going to be off.
So is it a boy, a girl, or did?
I think it's a
boy.
A boy.
$100 and a blanket courtesy of Kesson Veterinary Clinic of Delphus. Number 1 is Rockin' TJ, owned by Gary Wilmot of Erie, Michigan, trained by Ed Conrad, the driver, Christina Johnson. Number 2 is Duck Dragon, owned and trained by Dave Wardenstaff of Ashley, Ohio, the driver, Emma Wahlberg. Number 3 is Fullback, owned by the PT Stable of Brick, New Jersey, trained by Ryan Hall, the driver, Candace Brandstatter. Number 4 is Shares Speedy Shark, all by George Halderman of New Paris, Ohio, trained by Steve Livingston, the driver, Mandy Jones. Number 5 is Humboldt, all by Michelle Herman of Xenia, Ohio, and Matthew Kiesler of Dickinson, North Dakota, trained and driven by Bobby Joe Brewer. Number 6 is Play the Ponies, owned by Elizabeth and David Tolley of Mount Vernon, Ohio, trained by Elizabeth Tolley, the driver, Leslie Joyce. Horses will take one long score and go to the...
Our ladies always give us the most action in the best race of the night in their Spring Haven Farms division. So a field of 6 on the rail. We do have Rockin' TJ. Christina Johnson does drive for Ed Conrad. a few starts back, did have a third place finish at Northfield and non-winners of 1,500 the last 4. That did come back in June 16th, went that mile up at Northfield and won 55-3. It is the first, at least this season, the first start in the series for Rock and TJ. Still looking for the first seasonal win. However, this 8-year-old gelding by Rock and Image has had 178 lifetime starts with 18 wins, 35 second place finishes, and 25 third place finishes. Has made over $255,000.
Emma Wahlberg drives the 2, Duck Duck Dragon, who is currently the post-time favorite at 1-5. Duck Dragon coming off that win at Greenville, a 157-2, just by a neck. 3 wins on the year, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, $5,300, 56-2 at Northfield Park, 198,000 lifetime for the 2, Duck Duck Dragon.
Candace Brandstatter will drive the 3 fullback for trainer Ryan Hall. This is a 10-year-old gelding by Better's Delight out of a Jenna's Beach Boy mare. Ain't going back. 3 starts back at Northfield, did have a win and won 55-3 and also in a non-winners of 1,500 last 4. Came home big, ended up going 3 wide at the 3/4 pull last quarter, 29-2. 24 starts on the season with 2 wins and an additional 4 hits on the board lifetime. And 200 starts has had 22 wins, 37 seconds, and 31 third place finishes to bankroll about $365,000.
Mandy Jones drives the 4, shares PD Shark for Steve Livingston. 2 wins and 8 starts with a second, $4,300, $121,000 lifetime. As a 6-year-old, 2 years ago, was a winner at Dayton, lifetime mark of 152. Last time out, shares Speedy Shark in the Annie Oakley series at Greenville. Finished second, beaten 2 1/4, paced a mile in 56-4.
Bobby Joe Brewer does train and drive our 5, Humboldt. 10-year-old gelding by American Ideal, owned by Michelle Herman of Xenia and Matt Kessler of Dickinson, North Dakota. Just 1 win on the season that did come back wire to wire at Troy in the Ladies Series in 202-1.
6 play the ponies. Leslie Joyce for Elizabeth Tolley. 3 times the winner this year, $234,000 lifetime. 151 at Sauda Downs as a 4-year-old. Last time out was 3rd to share Speedy Shark in the Annie Oakley shootout at Greenville. The 6 play the ponies. They're at the top of the stretch. Full gate is 6. In behind the Mike Wepkenberg starting gate. The next voice you'll hear will be that of Bill Peters.
Here they come. They're off and pacing. The first horse away is Duck Duck Dragon. In their second is Rockin' TJ. Third is Fullback. Up on the outside, 4th is Play the Ponies. Racing in their 5th, that is Share Speedy Shark. And the last horse is Humboldt. As they make the turn now to head down the backside to race over toward that quarter-mile mark, Emma Wahlberg has Duck Duck Dragon on top by a length and a half. Pacing in their second is Rockin' TJ, driven by Christina Johnson. In their third, that's Fullback, driven by Candace Brandstatter. 4th is Play the Ponies, driven by Leslie Joyce. 5th is Share Speedy Shark, driven by Mandy Jones. And the last horse is Humboldt, driven by Bobby Joe Brewer. First quarter pace in 30 3/5 seconds. Horses are on straight alignment, racing around that upper turn, but now the first horse to make a move from far back is Humboldt. As they race her out down toward the half-mile mark, that is Emma Wahlberg with Duck Duck Dragon showing on top. Flying up on the outside second, though, now comes Humboldt. Coming to the half-mile mark, also on the move, is Play the Ponies. That's along the rail with the lead. That is Duck Duck Dragon pouring on the pressure on the outside. Second is Play the Ponies. Racing at the rail third, that is Rockin' TJ. And on the outside 4th is Fullback. First half paced in 101 2/5. As they round the turn now to head down the backside to race over to that 3/4 mile mark. The one to catch is Duck Duck Dragon. The closest horse second on the outside is Play the Ponies. Rockin' TJ third along the rail. Racing 4th is Fullback. Racing 5th down the backside, that is Share Speedy Shark. And the last horse is Humboldt. All 6 pacers well bunched as they race past that 3/4 mile mark. 3/4 in 130 4/5 as they race around that upper turn to head for pay dirt. That's Duck Duck Dragon with the lead, but here comes Rockin' TJ up on the outside. Duck Duck Dragon at the rail. Rockin' TJ on the outside, and at the rail third is Share Speedy Shark. as they race for home. That's Duck Duck Dragon and Rockin' TJ. Duck Duck Dragon and Rockin' TJ. Rockin' TJ and Sheriff Speedy Shark. It's going to be Rockin' TJ. Tight for place there between Sheriff Speedy Shark and Duck Duck Dragon. A mile in 2 minutes and 4/5.
That will light the tote board up. $70 winner.
Went off 35 to
35
1.
on the board.
Christina Johnson gave Rockin' TJ the perfect pocket trip. We'll say a very evenly rated mile.
Last time out at Northfield Park, the non-winners of 1,500 last four. Finished 9th. Paced mile, though, in 2 minutes and a fifth. So paced him 56 and 4, 55 and 3 at Northfield. So did have a right to come home winner here tonight. Just set off the pace. The pace was set by Duck Duck Dragon and Emma Wahlberg. I believe Duck Duck Dragon may have held on for second.
That's kind of how I saw him across the
Sheriff
wire.
Speedy Shark probably was third.
But then beyond that, who came fourth and fifth was pretty tight as well. But Rockin' TJ, one that likes to start every couple of weeks. But, I mean, it works. It definitely worked tonight. Owned by Gary Wilmonth of Erie, Michigan. And some time ago was purchased out of the Hoosier Classic sale for $45,000. Was bred in Indiana and has made, as I mentioned when we introduced the field, just over $255,000 in its racing career. Took a mark at 3 years old at Hoosier Park and won 51-1. I believe for Christina Johnson, this should be just her second win of the season, and I believe 15 starts or so.
Congratulations. Congratulations. That's the owner or caretaker, possibly both, of Maj Bloman.
Okay.
That won.
Okay.
Trained by Ed Conrad and driven to victory this evening by Christina Johnson. The blanket for this race is courtesy of Kesson Veterinary Clinic of Delphus.
$81.
More than you expected, right? What did you say? You expected a 70?
70, 35 would be 72, but.
Let's have a big hand here for Ed Conrad, Wasika Lauder, Christina Johnson, and Rockin' TJ at the Kesson Veterinary Clinic, the donors of the blanket.
So the 4, Sheriff Speedy Shark was second. That fooled me. Duck Duck Dragon finished third.
2, Duck Duck Dragon was third. Number 3, Fullback was fifth. Number 4, Sheriff Speedy Shark was second. Number 5, Humboldt was sixth. Number 6, Play the Ponies was fourth. Time of the first quarter was 30 and 3/5. The half was in 1:01 and 2/5. The 3 quarters in 1:30 and 4/5, with a mile in 2 minutes and 4/5. From the top, it should read 1:35.264, a mile in 2 minutes and 4/5.
Well, it's on to the 7th race. 2-year-old colt pace for 6,968, a field of 7. We'll be back to take a look at all 7 of these 2-year-olds right after this.
At Ohio State's Galbraith Equine Center, our veterinary champions are here for your champions 24/7, 365 days a year. Our expert team of boarded surgeons, sports medicine and rehabilitation specialists, together with veterinary cardiologists, internal medicine, and ophthalmologists, make our hospital your best resource for all sport horse performance issues. The Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center's Galbraith Equine Hospital. Call us today at 614-292-6661.
The Delaware County Fair, where history meets horsepower. Get ready for the thrill of a lifetime as the world-famous Little Brown Jug takes center stage. Witness the heart-pounding action, the thundering hooves, and the sheer determination of these incredible athletes compete for the coveted Little Brown Jug title. Don't miss your chance to be a part of history. For ticket and hospitality options, visit littlebrownjug.com. The Little Brown Jug, where champions are made and legends are born. Be there!
Cool Winds Farm in Lima, Ohio is a full-service standardbred breeding farm. Cool Winds stands the popular dancing Yankee, a two-time world champion, along with 2019 Jug winner Southwind Ozzie, the son of Some Beach Somewhere. Cool Winds also stands the royally bred $2 million earning Western Fame. Be sure to inspect the Cool Winds yearlings at the Ohio Selected Jug Sale at Pickaway on Friday, September 13th.
Welcome back. Day 1 of racing at Van Wert, headed into race 7. Second division of 2-year-old Colt Pacers. Nice purse of $6,968. A full field of 7.
Beginning with the 1, JB Magic. Pierce Henry will drive for Ty Bates. A winner of 7 in a row in 8 starts, 7 for 8. Winner 3 times in the Buckeye Stallion Series. Winner at Scioto Downs of 52-4. At Northfield Park was a winner in 55-1 in the Buckeye Stallion Series. At Urbana was a winner in 59-2 in the Buckeye Stallion Series. Last time out was a winner in 58-4 in Ohio Fair racing action at Lima. Pushing $40,000 for the 1, JB Magic.
Colton Noble will now drive the 2 T by the Sea, trained by Michael Arnold. This actually will be the very first start under the new trainer. This is a 2-year-old gelding down by the seaside out of a Western Hanover mare. 9 starts on the year with 5 wins. The last win did come back at Washington Courthouse the end of July, a wire-to-wire in 2:05-2 with Jeff Neisonger in the bike. This down by the seaside colt has made about $12,000 and took a mark of 2:01 flat at Wilmington earlier this year.
3, just right now. Now, did you get a driver update on the 3?
Harrison Levan.
Harrison will drive the 3. Harrison Levan, the 3, just right now. 3 starts, lightly raced so far this year, with a second and a third, 2,500. Last time out at Attica, finished 5th, paced a mile in 4-2. And Harrison Levan will pick up the drive on the 3 just right now.
Cameron Kina will drive the 4. Pat King Cole for trainer Brian Boring out of Michigan. Boring does also own this 2-year-old colt by Rodeo Romeo out of a Hawaiian Cowboy mare. Late night arrival. 5 lifetime starts with 2 third-place finishes. That pair of third-place finishes did come a couple starts back. The last one most recently at Attica in 2:03-4 with Cameron in the bike. Has made about $2,100 for Boring.
5 lather up Athens. Derek Flowers will drive. 6 starts, has 2 wins, a second, 2 thirds, $18,000 this year, 54-1 at Scioto Downs. Last time out at Hicksville, finished 3rd. Paced the mile in 2:03-3. The 5 lather up Athens.
Spartan Hill does drive the 6. Or excuse me, Mark St. Louis Jr. does drive the 6 Spartan Hill for trainer Steve Novak. Owned out of Michigan, this 2-year-old gelding by Racing Hill, coming off of a win at Hicksville, wire-to-wire in 2 minutes and 3/5. In just 8 lifetime starts, has won 6 to make almost $21,000. Do want to mention, has won a BSS back at Northfield on July 22nd. That mile was driven by Brett Miller, went in 1:55-3.
7, Seeing Gray. Drew Neal will drive for Ryan Miller. 7 starts, has 2 wins, a second and a third, $11,521. Last time out, 58-1, lifetime mark at the Darke County Fair in Greenville and the Dr. H.M. Parshall Memorial for Charity. That's the field for the 7th race, 2-year-old Colt Pace, for $6,968. So we get set for the post parade.
Say it does look like we're going to get ready for that post parade, but I do want to come back and talk about a couple of our starters in that BSS. This is a very nice field.
$8 in a blanket courtesy of the Brumback Library. One is JB Magic, owned by Bob Geist of Salina, trained by Ty Bates, the driver, Pierce Henry. Number 2 is Tea by the Sea, owned by Brian Witt of Cedarville, Ohio, trained by Mike Arnold, the driver, Colton Noble. Number 3 is Just Right Now, owned and trained by Jason Hanna of Marshall, Michigan, the driver, Harrison Levan. Number 4 is Pat King Cole, owned and trained by Brian Boring of Adrian, Michigan, the driver, Cameron Keena. Number 5 is Lather Up Athens, owned and trained by Matt Waltz of Clayton, Michigan, the driver, Derek Flowers. Number 6 is Spartan Hill, owned by Jerry Meisel of Westland, Michigan, trained by Steve Novak, the driver, Mark St. Louis Jr. Number 7 is Seeing Gray, owned by Miller Racing Stable Incorporated of Greenville, Ohio, and Amazing Racing Stable of Middle Point, Ohio, trained by Ryan Miller, the driver, Drew Neal. Horses will take one long score.
Well, we're joined now by the director of racing here at the Van Wert County Fair, Roger Wilkin. A great night so far. Got a decent crowd for the heat.
Yes, the heat was the big concern, and people still come out. So, yeah, I'm pleased with the crowd tonight.
And we're back at it right here at Thursday at the Van Wert County Fair at 11:30.
Yes, Thursday's Veterans Day, and we have 8 races, but I think it'll still be a very good program.
And then on Labor Day.
Yes, we have all condition races. The Terry Holton drivers race, and I think we bring back the ladies' pace, and a lot of condition races. So no stake races, but a lot of overnight races.
I haven't been here in the last 4 or 5 years for Labor Day card. It was a big tradition for the thoroughbreds.
Yes.
We know that's maybe a thing of the past. Can't get the jockeys. But what kind of crowd do you get for the harness races?
Believe it or not, last year we had a very good crowd on the backside. They're just here to see horse races and have a good time. And we had a good handle. So it worked out well. The thoroughbred program is still on the books. We haven't discontinued it. It's just no outside interest right now. But we still have
most of the jockeys come from Harris or Indianapolis Horseshoe.
Yes.
And when they have a day off, they probably don't want to come.
Right. And we still have our own starting gate. And like I say, we're going to let it rest and regroup a little bit. Maybe we can add some more money to the kitty and maybe try it in another couple of years or something. But 1 year we had jockeys and no horses. And the following year we had enough we had enough, but it wasn't a full program, so we just discontinued it for years. But the outside money is so great, it's hard to compete.
Yes.
That's the big thing. So, well, thank you guys for coming and being here and spotlighting our fair a little bit. We appreciate it.
Thank you for the spot, Roger.
Yeah, thank you guys for everything you do for us.
Well, they're headed to the gate for the 7th 2-year-old pace. Field is 7. Let's go to Bill Peters for the call.
Here they come. They're off and pacing the first horse away at the rail is JB Magic. Up on the outside, second is Lather Up Athens. Down at the rail, third, that's Tea by the Sea. And up on the outside, fourth is Spartan Hill. As they make the turn now to head down the backside to race over toward that quarter-mile mark, Pierce Henry has JB Magic on top by 2.5 lengths. Charging up on the outside second, that is Lather Up Athens, driven by Derek Flowers. Racing at the rail third is T by the Sea, driven by Colton Noble, and their fourth is Spartan Hill, driven by Mark St. Louis. Racing fifth is Seeing Gray, driven by Drew Neal. Racing sixth down the backside, that is Just Right Now, driven by Harrison Levan. And the last horse is Pat King Cole, driven by Cameron Keena. First quarter paced in 29 and 1/5 seconds. As they race down toward the half-mile mark, Leather Up Athens went off stride. Still with the lead, though, that is JB Magic coming to the half. Racing at the rail second now is T by the Sea, and their third is Spartan Hill. Back pacing fourth is Leather Up Athens. Racing fifth is Seeing Gray. Then comes Just Right Now and Pat King Cole. First half paced in 58 and 4/5 seconds. As they round the turn now to head down the backside to race over to that 3/4 mile mark. That is still JB Magic with the lead, but powering on the pressure on the outside second now is Spartan Hill. Racing along at the rail third, that is still T by the Sea. Going down the backside to the 3/4 mile mark. Along the rail will lead JB Magic on the outside second is Spartan Hill, and racing up third is Seeing Gray. 3/4 in 128 and 2/5. Racing around that upper turn to head for pay dirt. That's JB Magic at the rail and Spartan Hill on the outside. They're only heads apart as they turn for home. And now 3 wide comes Seeing Gray as they race toward home. That's JB Magic, Spartan Hill, and Seeing Gray. JB Magic and Seeing Gray in between horses, Spartan Hill. On the outside, that's Seeing Gray and JB Magic. It's going to be Seeing Gray. JB Magic up for place, Spartan Hill for show. A mile and 158 and 2/5.
58 and 2, fractions of 29 and 1, 58 and 4, 128 and 2. Seeing Gray nails JB Magic on the line. And did you jog Seeing Gray?
I was going to go get my picture taken with him right now. Yeah, I love this horse. No,
and they didn't ask you to drive tonight?
I'll get in there at Delaware. Yeah, no, he went to Drew Neal second instead of me, but that's all right. He did a good job. Hank will be back next week. No. I'm all right. Yeah.
That's a good mile out here.
That was a good mile.
Yeah, good mile. Our track's been pretty good all week. We needed some rain.
Yep.
I started watering it last night, and you couldn't even tell.
Yes, well, I'm sure.
By the time I got back around, you couldn't tell it even putting water out, so I quit. But we started working on about 2 o'clock today, dumping water on it, and it's starting to hold a little water right now, so it's good. And not to comment, but the Broomback Library was going to present a blanket here. It's one of the oldest libraries in the country, I believe. And got a young girl, and she was all helped to come present a blanket, and then she called and got emergency. She was going to bring a bunch of kids out and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, some kind of program I have, and I just told her we'll do it again next year. So, yeah.
Into the winner's circle, one of the winners go. Coming in from Greenville and Middle Point comes number 7, Seeing Gray. Owned by the Miller Racing Stable, amazing racing stable, trained by Ryan Miller, and driven to victory this evening by Drew Neal. And Seeing Gray has just equaled the track record for 2-year-old gelding pacers, pacing that mile in 158 and 2/5, equaling Danson Styles' record, which was set last year. The blanket for this race is courtesy of the Broomback Library. Let's have a big hand here for Rod Cooper, Drew Neal, Chris Hope, and Seeing Gray. And to the Broomback Library, the owners of the blanket. I believe I understand something about the Broomback Library being one of the oldest libraries maybe in the state.
Beautiful building, too, when you drive past it. It's amazing. It's really nice.
So we await the. Here we go with the rundown from Bill.
Magic was second. Number 2, T by the Sea was fourth. Number 3, Just Right Now was fifth. Number 4, Pat King Cole was 6th. Number 5, Lather Up Athens was 7th. Number 6, Spartan Hill was 3rd. Number 7, Seeing Gray was the winner. Time of the first quarter was 29 1/5. The half was in 58 4/5. The 3 quarters in 128 2/5, with a mile in 158 2/5. From the top, it should read 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3. 1 on the bottom, the mile in 158 2/5, equaling the track record for 2-year-old gelding pacers.
Well, we got 7 down, 3 to go. It's on to the 8th race, the Peony Pace Signature Series, a field of 5. We'll be back to take a look at all 5 of these pacers for the 8th race right after this message.
The fall of 1855 saw the founding of the annual Van Wert County Fair. Earlier that same year, a local newspaper had pushed the Agricultural Society to host a fair promoting area farm development. Despite public demand, the first fair was humbling. The one-day event had 1 horse, few poultry, a pig, 2 cows, and just some artwork to exhibit. However, by 1857, the fair had become so competitive that land was purchased to keep up with expansion. For only $187, the Van Wert County Fair finally had a permanent home. In 2 decades, the fair had extended to 3 days, and admission was increased to 25 cents per person. A saloon, Wheel of Fortune, dance floor, and racetrack had all been added to the grounds. A $20 purse was given to the fastest trotter of the day. Today, the Van Wert County Fair is a member of the Ohio Fair Racing Conference. They host 2 days of live-action harness racing and include a leg of the Spring Haven Farm Ladies Driving Series.
The roots of harness racing are born at the county fair. For over 150 years, people have gathered to watch horses battle it out for fame and glory. Catch the thrills this summer at an Ohio Fair Racing Conference County Fair. The OFRC races at 22 fairs in 20 Ohio counties. Trotters and pacers put it all on the line to be called the best in the Buckeye State. The Ohio Fair Racing Conference, where the path to greatness begins.
Well, we're back here at the Van Wert County Fair. Joining us, Director of Racing, Roger Welcome. We talked about the harness racing. Do they have a big event like Sunday evening, entertainment or anything?
Sunday evening we have bull riding.
Bull riding.
Yeah. Saturday night we have a concert in front of the grandstand. And Friday night we have some big truck pulls.
Okay.
And cheerleading on Wednesday night again, which is always a big crowd drawer.
And the fair started today?
Today.
Today?
Today was the first day.
And it goes till next Wednesday?
Next Monday.
It ends on Monday.
Yeah. We have the livestock sale on Tuesday.
Okay.
After the fair, after the fair. So.
I know back in the day they would race probably 5 stations of harness racing here.
Yeah. You could always race first a week and then race back.
Yeah, race back. They'd race on a Wednesday afternoon, right?
Yeah, they'd have a double header. Race on Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday night. But
things change.
Yes, definitely. The number of horses has changed dramatically.
I just got the Buckeye Classic catalog for their sale in October. I think 357 head. It's usually 140 to 180.
Yeah.
So that sale, Steve Cross's sale, is way up.
Yeah. And
then the Ohio Select sale, which is the 13th of September, I believe they have like 280, pushing 300. So there's and they sold. I know Midland Acres sold 17 yearlings, I believe, today, and there might have been some other yearlings in the ring at.
And I didn't really follow it. I didn't see how they.
Yeah, I didn't either,
prices,
really.
But they should be good.
Yes.
They should be good.
Ohio is a place to race.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it just looks like it's getting stronger.
Yes.
A lot of new outside people showing some interest. So it's all good right now.
Well, hey, I thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Best of luck for the fair throughout the week here. Hope you should have good weather.
Yeah,
maybe
I think
cool down a little.
Cool down Thursday. I think a little cold front's coming in, which anything would be better than right now. So, all right, thank you guys for everything you do, and we'll see you somewhere soon.
So it's on to the 8th race, the P&E Pace Signature Series, a field of 5. Bill pretty much go through the field, I believe, the way he does this. So really there's not a whole lot for us to talk about after Bill gets done. So if there's anything else we could talk about in the sport of harness racing, we gave the schedule out. Big weekend. Richwood, they'll be racing here on Labor Day, but no Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association Facebook coverage. Marietta, I believe, is racing that day. Richwood and Canfield, is it?
On which day, I'm sorry?
On Labor Day weekend.
On Labor Day weekend.
No, I think Frank.
Yes, Canfield. So we can quickly, Doug, kind of, again, as Bob Nash was recognized a few races ago, and all the people that make this happen behind the scenes, our speed superintendent, of course, is Roger Wilkin. Our presiding judge is Paul Combs. Charter here at Van Wert is Julie DeMol. Of course.
But actually tonight, Lisa Swartz is filling in.
Okay, perfect. The clerk and announcer, of course, is Bill Peters. Nash Photo for the photo finish. Our photographer is Conrad Photo. And our starter, of course, is the one and only Mike Webkenberg.
Mike earlier in the day was at the Indiana State Fair. I believe he had a gate today at Mount Gilead. And is Caldwell going earlier this evening? Maybe it was at Caldwell. It goes at.
We did have 3 fairs today. I can't keep track.
Mount
This
Gilead,
is why I
Van
keep
Wert,
my.
and is it Caldwell?
I think it is
I
Caldwell.
get them mixed up.
Today is, yes, I
Caldwell.
believe Frank was up at Caldwell with a post time of 5 p.m. So
Okay.
they started about an hour and a half before we did. I'm not sure how many races were on their card
They might
this
have only
evening.
well, maybe Mount Gilead only had 7 today, maybe. Not as many races normally when you get this many fairs in 1 week.
Right,
'Cause
and
there's-
also, we're getting towards the end of the
Yes.
fair season, and so there are some horses, like 2-year-olds, I mean, even 3-year-olds. I know my mom, for example, we've turned a handful of them out saying, you know what, they need another year to grow. So it's just it's pretty natural to kind of dwindle down a touch on all of our fields and our cards. But like you said, there's still so many fairs going on, especially.
But we're winding down. There's probably still 15, 18.
Oh, I couldn't even tell you how many
Something
technically
like
we
that.
are through, because really around the Greenfield date, that's just like boom, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom. And then it drops off pretty significantly after
Yeah,
Delaware.
there's another busy week there. Upper Sandusky, Montpelier, Worcester, Old Washington. I believe there's 4. The Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association. I know there are probably 3 cameras, but they have 3 crews.
I think we might have 3. Well, I think we have 4, but unfortunately we've had a lot of weather issues that have taken a couple kits out.
But I know that there's 4 places in one day, and I'm sure the one crew will probably be at Worcester in the afternoon and get to Upper Sandusky that evening would be my guess.
I believe that is Chris is going to be behind the camera for that, and Susan Schroeder will be doing those double headers.
And then that takes us into Delaware, and then after Delaware, well, there's one fair during Delaware, that is Ashland. And then you have Dover, Coshocton, Dayton, Lancaster. I'm probably leaving somebody out, but that's just off the top of my head. So they're going to be passing signature series T-shirts out. One came this way.
You should have jumped up, Doug.
If I'd have jumped up, I might have been down there on the ground.
the Peony Pace, they do, I say, we'll notice it as they come for the post parade, but they have their own set of saddle pads that they do use. It'll be race, I believe, race 8 and race 10 for the Signature Series tonight. They are pink and hard to miss. Looks like they are slowly making their way, gathering on the backside.
Sounds like we're waiting on a correct saddle pad. Someone is not wearing the correct saddle pad.
Okay. They have their own saddle pads for this race. Just like they did for the Regal Pace. They had their own saddle pads.
They sure did.
They sure did.
Unique.
Hard to see when it's dark out.
A year makes. Last year, there was no problem. Was it daylight?
I don't know.
This track is pretty dark, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it is dark in this grandstand as well.
But I was never confused in my life calling that Regal Pace last week. Probably, it took me about 3 days to go back and listen to the replay because I knew it was that bad a race call. I just couldn't find anybody.
I didn't think it was bad listening to it, Doug. I really didn't.
I watched it live at home, Doug, on our broadcast, and there was no part where I was like, oh, Doug's off. Like, I just never.
Yeah. I'm always very critical of my work as well. I don't like when things don't go exactly how they should, and that happens a lot, so I'm getting pretty numb to it.
Let's go to Bill Peters, who's going to give us a call, a rundown of this field for the Peony Pace.
Purse of $3,000 and a blanket courtesy of Young's Waste Service of Van Wert. Phone 419-238-9200. Number 1 is Well Said Eveliana. She's a brown mare, 4 years old, by Well Said out of Bloomin' Delight by Better's Delight. Owned and trained by Phil Groves of Sydney. Driven this evening by Mark St. Louis Jr. Lifetime earnings over $136,000. A lifetime mark 152 3/5. Number 2 is Q Cobra Jet. He's a brown gelding, 12 years old, by Jeremy's Jet out of Little Q by Stand Forever. Owned by Joyce Wiener of London, Ohio. Trained by Hank Levan. Driven this evening by Louis Levan. Lifetime earnings over $91,000. A lifetime mark 151 4/5. Number 3 is Cold Decked. He's a bay gelding, 6 years old, by Racing Hill out of Linus, Hanover by Western Ideal. Owned by Zach Jackson of Minner on the Lake, Ohio. Trained by Steve Ashby. Driven this evening by Colton Noble. Lifetime earnings over $90,000. A lifetime mark 154 4/5. Number 4 is Lenny Called Frankie. He's a bay gelding, 6 years old, by Captain Treacherous out of Say My Name by All-American Native. Owned and trained by Greg Cook of Brooklyn, Michigan. Driven this evening by Drew Neal. Lifetime earnings over $198,000. A lifetime mark 151. And number 5 is High Splendor. He's a bay gelding, 4 years old, by Nob Hill High out of Private Splendor by Western Hanover. Owned and trained by Steve Boroff of Mendon. Driven this evening by Pierce Henry. Lifetime earnings over $28,000. A lifetime mark 156 1/5. Those are your horses for the first division of the 2024 Peony Pace.
Michael Howard from Findlay says they had a bad storm go through there, a lot of rain and wind in the Findlay way, so hopefully the weather clears out for tomorrow evening's card at the Hancock County Fair. It's post time there Wednesday and Thursday evening at 6 p.m.
Matt and I will be there both days at Findlay, but I think we had a question, Doug. Didn't somebody ask when the fair championship was? Did we see a comment?
I didn't see that, but the fair championship is October 19th.
I believe you're right. It's that third Saturday of October, and it is held at Northfield Park.
Northfield Park. And I tried today, and I'm sure it's up there, and I couldn't find it, the standings for the fair. What do you go under to find that?
Yep, so that is on the OHHA website, not Harness Racing Ohio. So those are two separate websites. So if you're looking for standings, you are here. Let me pull it up on my phone so I can walk you through exactly the steps. So you're going to head on over to ohhha.com. Give me just a moment as my phone loads. And when you kind of have that drop-down box, you are going to look for racing. There is going to be a tab right under racing that says nominations and standings. I know it is more user friendly to use a desktop, but you still can find the standings on your mobile device. Once you go to that drop-down box that does say nomination and standings, in the right lower corner of your mobile screen, you will have a filter. There's this little blue button that looks like a filter, and then you can change, if you're looking for Sire Stakes, Buckeye Stallion Series, OFRC, or the championships, all of that will be listed there, nominations or standings if you're looking for a specific horse.
And the finals will go at Northfield Park, as they have the last 2 years, and I believe since Northfield they'll probably take the top 8, since Northfield will score 8 wide. The Ohio Sire Stake Championship, the Scarlet and the Gray, will be on a Friday and Saturday evening at Northfield Park.
Is it Friday or is it? I think it's Saturday, Sunday.
Oh, is it Saturday?
It's Saturday,
Sunday.
Sunday. Yep. Or what we're referring to now is the Gray, not the Consolation, is on a Sunday. But with that, I know, Doug, I should have brought my agenda with me, but I'm pretty positive because we actually just had a meeting with Northfield last week, trying to buff out some of those points.
And then the Buckeye Stallion Series will go. Their final will be probably October.
It's the next weekend.
5th. Yeah.
Or maybe
I
it's the
have
first
it right
weekend.
here in front of me. But that's at Dayton. The night of their Dayton Derby would be my guess.
Points are updated. Susan Schroeder does do those points. We try to have those updated on Monday of every single week through the previous day, so through Sunday.
Scarlet and Gray Championship Saturday the 12th and Sunday the 13th at Northfield Park.
We do have the veterans coming up, though, Doug. The OSS Veterans Championship is this Friday at Scioto Downs.
Yes, I did notice that. $75,000 final, October 5th at Hollywood Gaming Dayton for the Buckeye Stallion Series.
Perfect. Well, here we go. Behind the gate and coming around the turn, a field of 5 for the first division of the Peony Pace. Here's Bill.
They're off in the first division of the 2024 Peony Pace. The first horse away along the rail is Well Said Eveliana. Dropping in there second is Q Cobra Jet. Up on the outside third is Lenny Called Frankie. Racing in there fourth, that is Cold Decked. And the last horse heading down the backside is High Splendor. Racing down the backside over toward that quarter-mile mark, Mark St. Louis has Well Said Eveliana on top by 1 length. Pacing in there second, that's Q Cobra Jet, driven by Louis Levan. Racing third, that's Lenny Called Frankie, driven by Drew Neal. And their fourth down the backside is Cold Deck, driven by Colton Noble. And the last horse is High Splendor, driven by Pierce Henry. First quarter pace in 29 3/5 seconds. As they race around that upper turn to come down past the stands for the first time. That is still Well Said Eveliana with the lead. Sitting in the golden chair second, that's Louis Levan with Q Cobra Jet. Racing in there third, that's Lenny Called Frankie. Fourth coming to the half is Gold Decked, and the last horse is High Splendor. Past the half-mile mark, that's still Well Said Eveliana with the lead with Q Cobra Jet right there second. First half paced in 1 minute and 3/5. As they round the turn now to head down the backside to race over that 3/4 mile mark, all 5 pacers are well bunched. That's Well Said Eveliana along the rail with the lead. Pouring on the pressure on the outside second is Lenny Called Frankie. Q Cobra Jet racing in their third. Fourth now is High Splendor, and the last horse is Cold Decked. Going past that 3/4 mile mark, that's Well Said Eveliana along the rail, and Lenny Called Frankie on the outside battling it out. 3/4 in 129 2/5 as they race around that upper turn to head for pay dirt. That's Lenny Called Frankie on the outside with the lead. Well Said Eveliana along the rail second. Moving up third on the outside is Q Cobra Jet. As they race through the lane, that's Lenny Called Frankie and Well Said Eveliana. It's going to be Lenny Called Frankie, and here's the outcome. Looked like Well Said Eveliana held on for place with Q Cobra Jet for show. a mile in 1:58 and 2/5.
58 and 2. Lindy called Frankie. Drew Neal, 29 and 3. Minute 3/5, 29 and 2. Came off the pace.
2 in a row for Drew Neal. Natural double. He really does keep a horse brave on the outside, as good as anyone I think I've seen recently.
And Drew is just 20, I believe he's 24. Early 20s,
yes, 20,
regardless.
24.
And he can just drive a horse.
Yep.
Truly. And I mean, it definitely, you know, Rosie Weaver has put him on some nice horses as well, but that is not all he drives, as we see here. Got one in the winner's circle for Greg Cook this race.
A lot of back class here for this horse, 198,000. Lifetime for Lindy called Frankie, 3rd of the season. 20th career win for Lindy called Frankie.
Drew is already back in front of the grandstand. A nice little group of people in the winner's circle for this photo. Did go off as the 6-5 favorite.
And now moving down the track into the winner's circle where the winners go. Coming in from Brooklyn, Michigan, comes number 4, Linny Called Frankie. Owned and trained by Greg Cook and driven to victory this evening by Drew Neal. The blanket for this race is courtesy of Young's Waste Service of Van Wert. Let's have a big hand here for Greg Cook, Drew Neal, and Linny Called Frankie, and the Young's Waste Service of Van Wert, the donors of the blanket. That's 419-238-9200 for Young's Waste Service of Van Wert. Here are the official placings for race 8 from the top. Number 1, Well Said Eveliano was second. Number 2, Q Cobra Jet was third. Number 3, Cold Decked was fifth. Number 4, Linny Called Frankie was a winner. Number 5, High Splendor was fourth. Time of the first quarter was 29 3/5. The half was in 1 minute and 3/5. The 3 quarters in 1:29 2/5, with a mile in 1:58 2/5. From the top, it should read 2, 3, 5, 1, 4 on the bottom. The mile in 1:58 2/5.
Well, it's on to the 9th race. Ashley, a field of 5, 2-year-old filly pacers. Second division for $6,478. We'll be back to take a look at these 5 2-year-old fillies right after this.
Own a little and love it a lot. TheStable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. TheStable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at TheStable.ca.
For over 50 years, Midland Acres has provided top-quality Ohio-bred colts and fillies. As a third-generation farm, we understand the importance of delivering well-cared-for and well-mannered yearlings. Get in the winner's circle with the yearlings by Fear the Dragon, Yankee Cruiser, Long Tom, Summa Cum Laude, Ready for Money, and Bit of a Legend. See our yearlings at the Blooded Horse Sale August 27th and the Ohio Select Sale September 13th.
Do you want your horse to shine in the winner's circle? Feed DAC oil. It makes a world of difference.
Well, we're back here at the Van Wert County Fair in Van Wert. 2 races to go.
The penultimate, as Roger would say.
Yes.
Roger told me when we were at Lima. He told me who he picked that up from at the Meadowlands, and I cannot remember who he told me.
He asked me too quick here. He was there before Sam McKee was there several years. I'll think of it. Probably think of it at 2 in the morning when I wake up. It'll be on my mind.
He told me the story and everything, and it's some blanket on it too.
I assume he's talking about the announcer there. That was there when they probably in the 70s, in the 80s.
Does look like we have one horse out for our 5-horse field. Currently setting as the even money favorite is the 5, Ma Honey.
$84 degrees, 62% humidity.
Say last week, Doug, we worked together at Lima, and I was in a winter coat really both days, and here we are. It's warm. There's not a whole lot of airflow up in the grandstand, and they finally did turn on some lights, but they're not the brightest lights. It's pretty dark.
There is a 50% chance of rain in this area tomorrow, mainly in the morning. So that would be nice. Rain. Could use some rain in this area.
See, I feel like where I'm from, a little bit further east, we've had a ton of rain.
Yes.
It's interesting how that happens.
I know at Urbana, it seems like every year, one night we get drenched.
Mm-hmm.
Great night of racing the Buckeye Stallion Series, and I think we had like 2.5 inches of rain, but we finished the card. I believe that hit about the 6th race.
I don't even know if we got through that many. It was tough, but we did
came down.
Postpone for maybe 45 minutes to an hour because it was, and then we still went in the rain. It's not like it stopped in that amount of time. They still went forth when it was coming down. Kind of tough to do just because, those Buckeye Stallion Series, those legs have to go.
Yes.
We were not able to reschedule that at Urbana because there was already a racing card planned for the next night, so it was kind of a we gotta make it happen. And thankfully, honestly, there were some pretty decent miles.
Yes.
I was going to mention, but we had the director of racing here at Van Wert pop on, Latherup Athens, who was in a couple races back in the slop, still won a huge mile in that BSS. I think it went in 157 in a piece. Urbana is a very nice track, right? But
the rain that night came hard. It wasn't a hard downpour will run off the track instead of an all day, just a steady rain. That's where you get the bad track. But the rain that night, 2.5 inches, came pretty quick, and it just pretty much ran off the track.
Made for a fast track the next night, though.
Yes.
We'll say we had some nice miles on Wednesday.
That's the way it usually is, yes.
So who knows? Maybe, I want to say, we've already had a track record equal tonight and a divisional track record broken. So especially if we have rain maybe in the morning, Doug, you might come back and this track be even faster than what we're seeing tonight.
So we got 2 out, waiting on a post parade. A little slow coming out for this race.
I don't think our barns are too far behind us. I just kind of walked in actually from the opposite side on the back side of the track. I think we have a handful of harness barns. It's not like they're really coming too far, but I'm not sure what that PA system sounds like back there with Bill Peters telling them to come out.
So tomorrow evening you will be at the Hancock County Fair in Findlay. You're there both nights, I believe, on the schedule. Yep. I noticed 6 o'clock post each evening.
I don't think I have ever been to Findlay for the fair itself. So you're making me nervous, you and Matt telling me that it's going to be a pretty, especially how hot it is this week. I can't believe it.
Unless they've changed it since last year. There's no.
I can't imagine there's a cover on that grandstand.
Cover on the grandstand, and It was nasty, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, we usually went there in an afternoon. Am I correct?
I think it's usually about this time because the sun kind of sets the entire time.
Yeah, but
You
I
know
think
what?
that one was an afternoon and the following night
Yeah,
was always.
you're right.
But
Yep.
this year they're going both evenings.
I do think I have been at Findlay one time, right when I started with OHSA, so about 3 years ago. So I unfortunately know exactly what you're talking about now.
Nice track. Very nice
Yeah,
track.
they go good miles over
Yes.
it for sure.
Here is our post parade of the 9th.
Chad Williamson, the driver, Mark St. Louis Jr. Number 2 is Pink Jammies, owned by Heartland Acres of Walhonding, Ohio, and Rosie Weaver of Beach City, Ohio, trained by Rosie Weaver, the driver, Drew Neal. Number 3 is Rose Run Amy, owned by Dr. Jill Dental of Delta, Ohio, Bill Rivenaugh and Gene Roth of Archbold, and Jeff Banke of Toledo, trained and driven by Jim Ersham. Number 4 is Allison L., owned by Levan Stables, Megan Levan, Louis Levan, Harrison Levan, and Rosemary Levan of Woodstock and Lewistown, trained by Hank Levan, the driver, Harrison Levan. And number 5 is Ma Honey, owned by Sean McGee of Swanton and Suzanne Bates of Gibsonburg, trained by Ty Bates, the driver, Pierce Henry. Horses will take one long score and go to the gate. Mutual windows closing in 4 minutes. There's Win, Place, Show.
So here we go, Doug. Let's introduce our field of 5, the second division of 2-year-old filly pacers. Mark St. Louis Jr. will drive our rail horse Cinderbella for Chad Williamson. 2-year-old filly by Western Terror out of the Cam Best mare Cinder Sun Rose, owned by Gary Gillenden. Just 2 lifetime starts, kind of coming on the scene a little bit later than most of our 2-year-olds, and most recently had a 6 scratch at Attica. So last start was about a month ago back at Bowling Green. Did have a 3rd place finish with Greg Bateson in the bike in 2:03 and 4.
2 Pink Jammies, Drew Neal for Rosie Weaver, the 2-year-old brown filly by Fear the Dragon. 7 times a winner in 10 starts with 2 seconds, 41,000 in the bank, 56 and 4. Last time out, 2:03 and 4 at Hicksville.
Our 3-horse Rose Run Amy, trained and driven by James Earsom. 2-year-old filly by Racing Hill. Just 5 starts with 1 win that did come 3 back at Attica. Ryan Stahl was in the bike for that drive in 2:03 and 4. Has hit the board with 3 additional second place finishes, just over $10,000 made.
For Allison L., Harrison Levan for the Levan stable. 12 starts, 4 seconds, 3 thirds, $9,300 in the bank this year.
Another very nice horse out of the Tyler Bates stable, Ma Honey, will round out the field with Pierce Henry in the bike, coming off of a win from Lima in 2:01 flat. However, 2 starts back at Scioto Downs, was a winner in a BSS in 1:54 flat. 7 wins and 9 starts, $35,000 made. And here we go, a field of 5. We will pass it over to Bill for our call.
They're off and pacing. The first horse away is Pink Jammies. At the rail, second is Cinderbella. And their third is Rose Run Amy. Up on the outside, fourth is Allison L. And the last horse is Ma Honey. As they make the turn now to head down the backside to race over toward that quarter-mile mark, Drew Neal has Pink Jammies on top by 3.5 lengths. Pacing in their second, that's Cinderbella, driven by Mark St. Louis. Third is Rose Run Amy, driven by Jim Ersham. Dropping in there fourth, that's Allison L., driven by Harrison Levan. And the last horse is Ma Honey, driven by Pierce Henry. Past that quarter-mile mark, that's Pink Jammies still by about 4 lengths. First quarter was paced in 30 seconds. That's Pink Jammies now, opening up about 5-6 lengths. Racing second is Cinderbella. Charging up on the outside third. Now second and going after the leader is Ma Honey. Also on the move now comes Rose Run Amy, and the last horse is Allison L. Coming down to the half-mile mark, that's Drew Neal and Pink Jammies bringing the horses down to the half. Racing second now is Ma Honey. Racing in their third is Cinderbella. On the outside fourth, Rose Run Amy, and right there fifth is Allison L. First half paced in 1 minute and 1/5. As they round the turn now to head down the backside to race over that 3/4 mile mark. The one to catch is Pink Jammies. The closest horse second along the rail is Ma Honey, but now flying up on the outside third comes Rose Run Amy. Fourth along the rail is Cinderella, and moving up fifth is Allison L. 5 fillies well bunched as they go to the 3/4 mile mark. That's Pink Jammies along the rail. On the outside second is Rose Run Amy. At the rail third is Ma Honey, Allison L. fourth, and the last horse Cinderella. 3/4 in 132 and 2/5. As they race around that upper turn to head for pay dirt, Pink Jammies gets a little new life and opens up a length and a half lead. Still racing along the rail second, that's Ma Honey, and on the outside third is Rose Run Amy, and now charging up on the outside comes Allison L. As they race toward home, flying up on the outside is Cinderella. At the rail with the lead is Pink Jammies. It's going to be Pink Jammies, and here's the outcome. Looked like Ma Honey got up for place with Cinderella for show. A mile in 2:02 and 1/5.
Well, Pink Jammies did not disappoint. Set off at 3-5, the post-time favorite. 8 wins now in 11 starts. 2:02 and 1, 30 seconds. A minute and a fifth, 1:32 and 2. Drew Neal picks up another driving win here at the Van Wert County Fair.
That is Drew's third in a row. Trying to make sure, I believe that is his, yep, just a triple on the night, but regardless, 3 in a row for Drew Neal.
Second, the 5, Ma Honey, who got off to a bad start. Made up a lot of ground and I believe got the 2-hole trip then. When it came past us at the half, hung on for second, the 5, Ma Honey. Pierce Henry for Ty Bates. Third, the 1, Cinderella, Mark St. Louis Jr. for local trainer Chad Williamson.
I have the quarters in 30 flat to the half in 1 minute, 1/5. 3/4, 1:32 and 2, and of course that final mile time in 2:02 and 1. Hard to miss Pink Jammies. She comes back in front of the grandstand.
She is such a good-looking filly. Isn't
Yeah.
she? I mean, the pink helps too, but I mean, she's just a good-looking filly.
Coming in from Walhonding and Beach City comes number 2, Pink Jammies, owned by Heartland Acres and Rosie Weaver, trained by Rosie Weaver, and driven to victory this evening by Drew Neal. The blanket for this race is courtesy of Figs Firearms of Van Wert. Let's have a big hand here for Drew Neal, Joe Yoder, and Pink Jammies, and the Figs Firearms of Van Wert, the donors of the blanket. The top. Number 1, Cinderella was third. Number 2, Pink Jammies was the winner. Number 3, Rose Run Amy was fourth. Number 4, Allison L. was fifth. And number 5, Ma Honey was second. Time of the first quarter was 30 seconds. The half was in 1 minute and 1/5. The 3/4 in 1:32 and 2/5, with a mile in 2:02 and 1/5. From the top it should read 3:14.52 on the bottom. The mile in 2:02 and 1/5.
Well, the 10th and final on this Tuesday evening here at the Van Wert County Fair is coming up next. Field of 5 for the second division of this signature series, the Peony Pace. We'll be back to take a look at all 5 of these pacers right after these messages.
Own a little and love it a lot. TheStable.ca is an award-winning fractional ownership operation. Buy as little as 1% of a racehorse and experience 100% of the thrill. TheStable.ca makes ownership easy, accessible, and affordable. Communication and customer service are at the heart of everything we do. Get started at TheStable.ca.
For over 50 years, Midland Acres has provided top-quality Ohio-bred colts and fillies. As a third-generation farm, we understand the importance of delivering well-cared-for and well-mannered yearlings. Get in the winner's circle with the yearlings by Fear the Dragon, Yankee Cruiser, Long Tom, Summa Cum Laude, Ready for Money, and Bit of a Legend. See our yearlings at the Blooded Horse Sale August 27th and the Ohio Select Sale September 13th.
Do you want your horse to shine in the winner's circle? Feed DAC oil. It makes a world of difference.
Well, we're back here for the 10th and final at the Van Wert County Fair on this Tuesday evening. Racing continues on Thursday, 11:30 post time, Veterans Day, and then they'll be back at it Labor Day. I believe that'll be a noon post time here at Van Wert. The Ohio Harness Horsemen Association broadcast team will not be here at Van Wert for that card on Labor Day.
If you are local, of course, head on over. The only reason we are not coming is just we frankly do not have enough people and enough kits to cover all the fairs in Ohio. And so we want to make sure we get the stakes action to everyone before those overnights. But still a good card nonetheless. I'd say we can open up our Huff's Guide. I do know on that Monday they'll have another leg of the Spring Haven Farms Ladies Driving Series.
They actually have a trot and a pace that day.
Oh, do they?
I believe.
Where are we at, Doug? If I could find my Huff's Guide. Van Wert. Also, they're going to have a leg of the Terry Holt Memorial Youth that day as well, along with some memorial races and those overnights we had mentioned. Headed into our 10th and final, this second division of this Peony Pace Signature Series, going for a purse of $3,000. A field of 5. No one is on the track quite yet.
Big matchup here between Catch Me Conrad and Tourig Seelster. They are bitter rivals. They have been, well, in years past. Those two, I mean, just kind of comes down to the post position a lot of times when they get together, when they hook up. But, I mean, they are both a couple tough old racehorses.
Tourig Seelster, I believe, made his 300th career start 2 weeks ago at Napoleon.
Napoleon, yeah.
Just got beat that night, am I correct?
Just got beat right at the wire. By Surfing the Canyon, who I think has won 9 now in a row.
Such, yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
so, I mean,
Greg Bateson,
a loss by a nose of that
Greg
horse.
Bateson, Steve Bateson. Nice horse.
Yeah, Lisa has done such a good job with the Signature Series. It's continuing to grow. I think there's 33 member fairs, and they attract such high-quality horses, both on the trot and pace side for that. Is it the final is at Delaware?
Yes, finals at Delaware, and they also have a consolation on the trot and the pace at Delaware. Signature Series started in this area, Van Wert, Salina area. Bob Geist from Salina was a big instrumental in getting it started. I'm going to guess this probably 20 years now.
Really?
The Signature Series pace has been going on.
And now I guess I did not realize that's the same Bob Geist that does own JB Magic.
Yes.
Correct? Okay. Very
Yes.
cool. I did not know.
12, 15 years ago, Bob was a director on the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association.
Kind of circling back, though, to what Matt has said with this kind of matchup between Catch Me Conrad and Tourig Seelster, both coming off of wins. Actually, most of this field is going to come off of a win or has seen a win. Every single one of these horses, this field of 5, has had a win at least in the last couple of starts. And 2 nice drivers that we have seen all night. So Drew Neal could try to go 4 in a row with Catch Me Conrad. That is very much a possibility. But then also Pierce Henry is going to be on Tourig Seelster, one that does quite well up in this part of Ohio. Currently on the board, what do we have, Doug?
8-5 on Tourig Seelster, 3-5 on Catch Me Conrad.
Yep.
You'd have to go to the inside post, I believe, with a short field.
It's not over till it's over, though, of course. We've been talking quite a bit about Catch Me Conrad and Tori Sealster, but there's still, this is a nice field of horses. Doug,
Yeah, that's.
I mean, say I'm trying to see how many we have out, if it's worth us going through quite yet, or.
Got 3, we got 4. 4 need 1 more, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4. Colton Noble will be driving the 1.
We're back with pink saddle pads, the signature series here, the Peony Pace, both the 8th race, so the 1st division, and of course here in the 10th, the 2nd division. They have each had their pink saddle pads. I'm trying to think. So of course the Regal and the Arnie has their own saddle pads at Greenville. The Jug, probably one of the most well-known.
Well, the Jug is switching this year.
Oh. Really? Okay.
The Jug it'll be a Jug on there. What I understand, it will be like your red Jug for 1, blue for 2. I think I'm right on that.
Peony Pace for 4-year-olds and up, a part of the Signature Series, going for a purse of $3,000 and a blanket courtesy of Bircham Printing. Number 1 is Trente Deo. He's a Bay Ridgeling, 8 years old, by Captain Treacherous, out of Electric Fool by I Am a Fool. Owned by Zach Jackson, a mentor on the Lake, Ohio, trained by Steve Ashby, driven this evening by Colton Noble. Lifetime earnings over $379,000, a lifetime mark 150 2/5. Number 2 is Catch Me Conrad. He's a bay gelding, 8 years old, by Tell It Like It Is, out of Envy by Mach 3, owned and trained by Greg Cook of Brooklyn, Michigan, driven this evening by Drew Neal. Lifetime earnings over $347,000, a lifetime mark 150 4/5. Number 3 is Captain LeBlanc. He's a bay gelding, 6 years old, by Captain Treacherous, out of Evilix M by Art Major, owned by Richard Otto of Mansfield, Massachusetts, trained by Russell Early III, driven this evening by Mark St. Louis Jr. Lifetime earnings over $83,000, a lifetime mark 151 4/5. Number 4 is Gator Cub. He's a bay gelding, 5 years old, by Western Vintage, out of Kalady, Blue Chip, by Better's Delight, owned and trained by Jennifer Carpenter of Perrysburg, Ohio, driven this evening by Cameron Keena. Lifetime earnings over $102,000, a lifetime mark 152 2/5. Number 5 is Touring Sealster. He's a bay gelding, 11 years old, by Shadow Play, out of That Day by Cam Luck, owned and trained by Phil Groves of Sydney, driven this evening by Pierce Henry. Lifetime earnings over $381,000, a lifetime mark 150 4/5. Those are your horses for the 2nd division of the 2024 Peony Pace.
This is Touring Sealster's 302nd trip to the behind the starting gate. 49 wins in his lifetime. This would be win number 50.
Say, coming right off of a win from Lima, Alex Hawk usually in the bike for Philip Groves. However, that trip at Lima did go in 2 minutes, 2/5. I wouldn't say, I guess not technically a pocket trip, but did stay on the rail that entire mile to pop out for that win. Final quarter in 28 4. Catch Me Conrad, our 2-horse. Another one coming off a win from Hicksville in their free-for-all. Drew Neal in the bike for that one. Final quarter 27 2, mile time 1:57 1. And the other horse, our 1 horse, is another one coming off of a win, actually in the Signature Series at Hicksville at 1:59 4. A lot of class.
Yes, a lot of class, a lot of back class there. Mike Webkenberg moves the starting gate into position. Field has completed her score. They'll be heading to the gate.
With Touring Sealster on the outside. They're at the post. Starting gate is rolling now. Here they come. Here, off and pacing the first horse away in the middle of the track is Captain LeBlanc. At the rail second is Trente Deo. Up on the outside third is Gator Cub. As they make the turn now to head down the backside to race over toward that quarter-mile mark, Mark St. Louis has Captain LeBlanc on top. On the outside second is Cameron Kina with Gator Cub, and Gator Cub now goes to the top. Racing in their third, that's Trente Deo, driven by Colton Noble. Dropping in fourth is Catch Me Conrad, driven by Drew Neal, and the last horse is Touring Sealster, driven by Pierce Henry. Past that quarter-mile mark now, Mark St. Louis is back out and on the move with Captain LeBlanc, and dropping back second is Gator Cub. First quarter paced in 29 and 2/5 seconds. Racing around that upper turn to come down past the stands for the first time. That's Captain LeBlanc with the lead. Racing at the rail second, that's Gator Cub up on the outside third. Now comes Catch Me Conrad. Coming to the half-mile mark, that's Captain LeBlanc along the rail, but Catch Me Conrad is pouring on the pressure on the outside second. Gator Cub third along the rail. Touring Sealster now fourth, and the last horse is Trente Deo. First half paced in 57 and 2/5 seconds. As they round the turn now to head down the backside to race over to that 3/4 mile mark. The one to catch is Captain LeBlanc. The horse pouring on the pressure on the outside second is Catch Me Conrad. Gator Cub is third along the rail. Touring Sealster on the outside fourth. Trente Deo racing fifth. Going to the 3/4 mile mark. That's Captain LeBlanc still with the lead with Catch Me Conrad on the outside second. And now Touring Sealster is closing in third. 3/4 and 126 and 3/5 as they race around that upper turn to head for pay dirt. That's still Captain LeBlanc along the rail with the lead. On the outside second is Catch Me Conrad with Touring Sealster in their third and trying to come on along with Trente Deo as they race for home. That's Captain LeBlanc and Catch Me Conrad. Captain LeBlanc at the rail, Catch Me Conrad on the outside. It's going to be Catch Me Conrad, and here they all come. Captain LeBlanc up for place with Touring Sealster for show. A mile in 1:55 and 4/5. That is a new track record for the Van Wert County Fair. The old track record, 1:56 by JC back in 2002.
Wow, that's an old record.
22 years later.
JC was a tough horse,
Yes.
too. I remember him up in Michigan. He won the Open up at Hazel and Northville for a lot of years.
Catch Me Conrad, 29 and 2, 57 and 2, 26 and 3, home in track record time, 1:55 and 4. Drew Neal, 4 in a row, a grand slam for Drew Neal.
Very nice closing out of this card for Drew. I guess you can't ask for more.
Huge effort out of Catch Me Conrad, too.
Yes.
Mark St. Louis Jr. is not an easy guy to go past on the front end. That was a real nice horse he got by there, too. Both of those two raced amazing.
Catch Me Conrad, we were talking about the number of wins Touring Sealster has. 61 for Catch Me Conrad coming in. 62 now. 350,000 lifetime for Catch Me Conrad. Drew Neal's fourth winning drive on the card.
Victory by Drew Neal, pacing that mile in 1:55 and 4/5. Now the first two are going to present the Bircham Printing blanket to Catch Me Conrad, and then we have another blanket for the faster division of the Peony Pace. Let's have a big hand here for Greg Cook, Drew Neal, and Catch Me Conrad, and to Bircham Printing, the donors of the blanket for the for this division. And then, of course, got the Peony Pace blanket for winning the faster division.
Looks like we are final, so just waiting for that rundown from Bill.
Here are the official placings for race 10 from the top. Number 1, Trente Deo was fourth. Number 2, Catch Me Conrad was the winner. Number 3, Captain LeBlanc was second. Number 4, Gator Cub was fifth. And number 5, Touring Sealster was third. Time of the first quarter was 29 2/5. The half was in 57 2/5. The 3 quarters in 126 3/5, with a mile in 155 4/5. From the top, it should read 4, 1, 2, 5, 3 on the bottom. The mile in 155 4/5. Well, that concludes our racing here for this evening. I want to thank each and every one.
There we go, Doug. A very nice start to the Van Wert meet.
A lot of track records.
A lot
Big
of
night
track
for Drew Neal,
records.
4 wins, 3 track records. 2-year-old colt pace was tied. The
3
2-year-old
colt trot.
3-year-old trot they broke that. And
And
a
an
record that had been standing for 22 years by JC was just broke by Catch Me Conrad and Drew Neal.
Well, there we go. But to close us out, so we will not be back here tomorrow. Actually, we're going to skip a day, but join Matt and I tomorrow the next 2 days, actually, at Findlay. And Doug, you will be back here for
I will be back here with Frank Frost, I believe, on 11:30 a.m. on Veterans Day here at the Van Wert County Fair. So.
Wow. Perfect. I'm going to say, so on behalf of all of OHHA, Matt behind the camera, Doug, and myself, thanks for tuning in, and we hope to see you at a fair real soon.
This has been Ohio County Fair Racing. Ohio County Fair Racing has been presented by Midland Acres, thestable.ca, Dublin Valley Farms, Big D Tack and Vet Supply, and the Ohio State Veterinary Medical Center. Ohio County Fair Racing is a presentation of the Ohio Harness Horsemen's Association.